Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm still making mouth sounds here because I'm fucking trying to slam down this protein bar. Go ahead.
I got Little Caesars for when I'm done as a reward.
Nice. I've got a Rockstar Pure Zero because they were 2 for $2. Or no, it was buy 2 get 2 free. So I loaded up on those motherfuckers.
That's a great deal.
I have a bottle of bourbon.
Yay!
Ooh, what does it
I
say?
have-
Is that an Eagle? Hell yeah.
That is Eagle Rare from
Nice.
Buffalo Trace. If you ever see this in
Buffalo
the wild
Trace
and
is
you remotely like bourbon, just do yourself a favor, treat yourself.
I have a cup of sour cream.
Shit, I better put this back. I got nothing on that.
We're all fucked.
That's what I mean. Jerry's a whole other brand.
You dipping your protein bar in that?
Yeah.
Sour cream bar?
Yeah, well, sour cream. There's a little bit of cheese in there too, just for good measure.
Jill sandwich.
Hello, superstars. My name is Aaron. I can glow in the dark.
And my name is Gerry, and I dip my protein bars in sour cream.
And you're listening to Superpod Saga. Welcome back, everybody. Once again, this is indeed Superpod Saga, the one and only, the greatest podcast that has zero flaws.
Bet your sweet tits it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is the podcast where Gerry and I, we pick different guests. We pick a different top. Well, the guests pick the topic, I guess. And then we talk about video games and video game accessories each and every week. Gerry, what are we talking about this week?
I'm talking about Resident Evil.
Residential Evil.
Residential Evil. And just the first one. And it's going to be a 3-hour-long podcast about every moment of Resident Evil. No, I'm just kidding. It's like a retrospective Resident Evil.
Yeah, exactly.
All of them, even the bad ones.
No,
There are no bad ones.
we're not doing spin-offs.
there sure
though.
is.
Listeners, we're just doing main series 1 0 through 8. Yeah, 0 through 8. That's it.
Yeah, there's bad ones there.
Okay. Well, yeah, before we get to that, let's introduce some guests. First up, we have a returning face, Nomad. Hello, man.
What is happening, you guys? I'm so happy to be back with you all. This is my number 3. I deserve a prize in some capacity, I think.
I'll send you another bottle of bourbon. Is that cool?
Ooh, thanks,
I'll pop
buddy.
my
You're
top
the
off
best.
after the show's over or something. For you if you want. I don't know.
Appreciate that too. Or I'll take a protein bar dipped in sour cream.
I'll dip myself in sour cream for you, Nomad. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. What was the last one we had you on for? Was it the hated games that we like?
That was the one. Episode 84,
we
hated
go.
games that we actually like.
Yeah, that was a really fun one. Boy, for anybody who hasn't heard those episodes or heard your show before, go ahead and plug your show, talk about yourself, your favorite games, and how about you can talk about your favorite cocktail or alcoholic beverage.
All right. So my big shtick is I have a podcast called The Retro Wildlands.
Me too.
And in the Retro Wildlands, ooh, nice.
We're also
my
called
whole
the
thing.
Retro Wildlands. What's happening here?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta trademark this shit. This is not good. But on my particular show specifically, I'm a almost 40-year-old gamer now, and I am going back and playing old retro games that I missed out on when I was a kid, but I put a little bit of a spin on it. I take you, the listener, yes, you, right now listening, through the game itself using music, sound effects, that kind of thing, and I want to try to recreate the experience of the game. So if you've ever played the game before, you'll, get a little bit of that nostalgic tingly going on as you hear me play through the game as I talk about it, or if you've never played the game before and you're just kind of mildly curious about it, want to know what the hell it's all about, you can listen to the show and get a line on one of your favorite games that way. So,
Yes.
got a decent amount of episodes out there. I kind of throw them out willy-nilly. I'm a busy guy, parent of a couple rambunctious teenagers, and I work a full-time job, that whole
kids.
thing. So, I know, right? They're got needs and stuff. Got to
Goddamn
constantly
kids.
water them and
Make your own
feed them and stuff.
quesadillas, goddammit.
Right? But that's my show. I'm on all the major pod platforms, or at least the ones that I was able to slip my show on, so I'm really easy to find. As far as my favorite games go, spoiler alert, I love the Resident Evil series, so I'm gonna have a fun
That's
time
good.
with you all today. It's gonna be awesome.
Nice.
I also love Final Fantasy, Silent Hill, the Metal Gear series is one of my favorites too.
Okay.
I play a lot of different games, so I could probably go on for forever. And as far as my favorite cocktail / drink, I'm kind of a bourbon guy. I'm certainly not a connoisseur. I know what I like. I sometimes put rocks in it. Sometimes I don't.
Like
But,
rocks you find on the ground, or like ice.
You don't know about me, Joe Rogan.
Usually the ones in the driveway. The ones in the driveway do just fine, so I'm not a complicated guy. So it's just whatever gets me by.
I think they don't call it a landslide for nothing. Or not, I guess
There
that's
you
not
go.
bourbon, but yeah, awesome. I definitely recommend that Nomad's show, Retro Wildlands. I've listened to like 6 episodes. What is it? Gunstar Heroes, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Super Metroid.
Gunstar Heroes is such a good game.
Yeah,
Treasure doesn't miss.
They
don't miss.
It's an awesome show, man. It's like having your big brother kind of walk you through the first like hour or so of a game, and then boom, there off you go. It's awesome.
Pretty much.
And we got a new face joining us from over in one of Jerry's
Portrait
shows.
mode.
Yeah, from Portrait Mode, Super Ghost Radio. Hello, Beth.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Tell us all about yourself, your favorite games, plug your show, and yeah, tell us about your favorite alcoholic beverage if you have one. If you're not a drinker, just tell us about your favorite drink. Fine with
You have so many questions.
that. Feel free to skip as many as you want.
Okay, I will. I'll skip most of them. No, Gerry can plug our stuff. I'm Beth. I am, I don't know, newly 30, and I play video games.
Are we all?
Adults.
I wish I had one of those like.
Bam, bam, bam,
And-
bam.
Me and Gerry and our friend Greg, we do a podcast together, Super Ghost, and I also really enjoy Resident Evil, which is why I believe Gerry asked me to come hang out. But my favorite game series is Kingdom Hearts, and
Hell yeah.
and I love the Tales series and the Trails series, both not to be confused with each other. Favorite drink. I'm not much of a drinker, but when I do, I like a Cosmo because I am a basic bitch.
That's fine.
And that's all. I'm not good at introducing myself.
I'm not either. I usually just come in all loud and just make a joke, and then boom, party starts.
Same. When you were like, here are questions, I was like, do I know anything?
Beth is just normally used to me like shouting profanities and
Yeah.
making awkward situations even more awkward.
Absolutely.
and then she kind of just fills in the blanks. It's like Mad Libs.
It's kind of crazy. But I guess like a blanket disclaimer that I always do when talking about Resident Evil. I'm a scaredy cat. I can't play the Resident Evil games. I watch them. I watch speedruns. I read about the lore. I love the story, which completely unironically love the story. And I've only ever been able to play 5 and 6 because you could have a friend. But I've
Ooh, okay.
I've watched all of them a bunch, played through 5 and 6 plenty. So, but yeah, I am scared of everything. So.
Nice. That's still fine. At least you do enjoy the series, though.
Absolutely.
My old co-host Tommy, he refuses to play any scary games because he's also a big coward. Those are his words, not mine.
Oh.
And yeah, that's good. At least you try. You're trying to overcome your fears.
Absolutely. I love watching other people play scary games.
I think your
kind of my
crowning
favorite.
achievement of watching scary games, though, is watching me play Murder House with your all-time biggest fear, the Easter Bunny. And this fucking game is just basically a murderous man in an Easter Bunny suit.
Oh,
And I didn't know. And
it was scary for me.
When it
Real
happened,
scary
I
for me.
cried. I had to get Gerry to pause.
Pause.
I thought she was going to give me
Stop
some like
this.
pro tips. She was like, pause. And I was like, yeah, what's up? She's like, I don't know if I can do this one.
Yeah, I was like, I'm actually
Aw.
terrified of the Easter Bunny. But
Understandable.
then like 5 minutes later, I was like, that key looks like the key that was on the closet for the key on the closet door, but don't look. Like,
You
okay.
you've
Oh my
watched.
God.
you've watched me play probably more horror stuff than like normal games. Because you watched me play that Poppy Playtime when I screamed really loud and then Karen came in and like yelled at me. you were there for that.
And we did Phasmophobia. I used to watch I loved watching like Outlast and
you watched me play that fucking mortuary assistant, and that just about cleared my fucking soul from my body.
Dude,
I just can't play them.
God damn.
I want to play that game so bad because I've seen it play now. I'm the type, man, that I want to put myself in those situations. Like I've said this a bunch of times before, but people go skydiving and that's how they get their adrenaline rush. Me and I want to play a scary video game. Like I want to play Resident Evil 7 in VR because I heard that's just gonna make you shit your pants all over the place. Like
Gerry did.
Yeah? Did you? What'd you think, man?
I mean, we'll get into this a little later, but I think that might be my favorite Resident Evil experience of all time.
Nice. Yeah, that's a rush you can't get anywhere else.
It's also the first time you experience a seizure.
I had to like physically push like physically and mentally push myself to get through that game. Like there were points where I would like be looking down I'd be like looking down a hallway. And then I just like take the thing off and be like, I don't know if I can do this. Like I don't think this is possible.
You've got like one of those blind person canes and you're like shaking it around the room to make sure there's nobody in there with you. Like, hello, spooky monsters.
God, that's not gonna help me. If I ever play that game, my house is old. I've got like natural hardwood floors, so every step I take is like
so you're gonna scare yourself. Like you're gonna.
Oh yeah. I can't fucking wait.
I've told this story, I think, on Super Ghost, but there was also a situation where when I was playing this game, because I mean, when you're in VR, like for anybody that doesn't know, if you haven't tried VR or like played anything extensively in VR, like I had the headset on and I had the noise canceling headphones on. So I'm like, I'm fucking not on this planet anymore. Like I am not aware of any of my surroundings, like time of day, people around me, nothing. And I'm just like immersing myself in this game. And I guess Karen was trying to like call me like upstairs to be like, hey, food's here, come up and eat. And she came down while I was at like a very, very tense moment. And it was probably like one of those situations where I was like trying to force myself to play the game. And I'm just kind of sitting there and she came down and she like pushed me on the chest and then like yelled like, hey. And I thought we were going to get divorced that day. Like I basically like blacked out and said shit that I'm like not aware of because I felt my soul leave my body. It was one of the worst scares I've ever received in my life.
Nice. Well, if that's not a fantastic intro to what we're going to talk about today, I don't know what's going to be. Damn.
God damn.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Just for the fuck of it, Gerry, what's your favorite alcoholic like? Do you drink cocktails? Shit. Do you drink cocktails, or are you just like a wine guy?
Aaron, I drink. Okay,
I know you do. I've seen you drink on many occasions.
I drink lots, and I guess my main slice is probably Scotch, but that's expensive. So then I usually just do wine. But when it's summertime, I'm all about a good beer, and
there you go.
I had a nice hazy IPA earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice and refreshing, especially with all this heat going on around here.
What about a cocktail?
Yeah.
What's your favorite cocktail?
Cocktail?
Yeah. Any one at all. Could just be like a fucking whiskey and Coke for
I like an old fashioned.
Okay. Those are good.
Yeah. I can do an old fashioned.
Yeah, same. I think that'd be my favorite too. Good old, I don't know, like a Knob Creek old fashioned, something along those lines. That's perfect.
Yeah, don't ever get one from Buffalo Wild Wings though, because they're always terrible. They're always way too strong. I mean, they're supposed to be strong.
I'm going now. I want to take me.
I kind of want to figure that. Yeah, I kind of want to give that a try. Like I've never thought about. Yeah, I would love with my spicy wings to have an old fashioned at BW3s. Let's go.
Oh man, I'm a mule guy. I've had like maybe 8 kinds of mules in my fucking 34 years of life on this marble. Yeah, mules are good. They come in little copper cups. They have like little tiny straws and like a big fucking lime wedge. It's great.
Yeah, you always send me a picture whenever you have a mule, and I always ask you the same question. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It's a mule. Yeah. Why the fuck is it in the shiny cup? Was that cup rusted?
I've never had one.
Pretty hot though.
Yeah, they're
Jerry
awesome
gets
cups.
immediately distracted by the shininess of the cup. That's...
Hey, let's get to that Resident Evil, goddammit. Should we start with 0, or should we just go in like order of release? Like start with the first one?
We can skip 0. We can skip 0.
But it's part of the series, isn't
it? I know. It's just there's
you
something
don't like
about
it?
that game. There's something about that game. I've tried. I have fucking tried so many times.
I guess we can start with 0 since Jerry is so ready to talk about it.
Yeah, let's
just out of spite, we'll start with 0.
Rip this.
I love you,
off.
Jerry, but Resident Evil 0. What do you not like about it? Is there like a specific thing? Or...
I don't like having to switch back and forth with the characters, and the fact that they did not make that a co-op game. Get the fuck out of here! You had every opportunity to make a really cool co-op game in a Resident Evil, and they dropped the ball. And I don't know. I've gotten like a couple of hours into that game several times. I've sat down and been like, I'm going to give it an honest go. And then I do it again. And I'm like, no, this time I'm going to give it an honest go. And every single time I'm just like disappointed because it kind of like fucking leeches. Get the fuck out of here with these fucking leeches. What are you?
The leeches are gross, man. Leeches are fucking disgusting.
And they're annoying. Like, I don't know. There's just something about that game. It just doesn't ding my fucking dong, dude.
Jerry, I'm 100% with you, and I would almost consider myself a Resident Evil fanboy at this point in my existence, but I couldn't. Well, I did it. I played the game. I actually, way back when, it was one of the reasons I decided to get a GameCube back in the day, because I wanted to play Resident Evil 0. I like the idea of a prequel, go before the mansion, and try this new co-op, not co-op, whatever it is. But I had... I'll start with 2, but I'm probably going to end with like 9 different gripes here. 1, I didn't care for the story in that they went back and made this convoluted story involving, leeches of all the things, and leeches that take the form of a human. All right, I know Resident Evil is in this realm of just you have to suspend disbelief. Sure, I get it, but I couldn't get on board with that. I also didn't like the fact that your main character, Rebecca Chambers, is in the first Resident Evil, the OG Resident Evil, and they kind of had to retcon her in a sense. Like she's taking on all these monsters and she's working with this outlaw, and then she goes in the first game with, I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to stay in the save room and make you some medicine. Just, it was very disjointed. I don't like what they tried to do with it. So that's gripe number 1. Gripe number 2, the item boxes and the way that they did inventory management. I like the idea that they were trying something different, whereas you can't use the magical linked interdimensional item boxes. Like that's the series staple, right? You could only carry with you what you can carry, but you could drop your items anywhere you want in the play area. And that was different.
And you can see them on the map too. That's kind of cool. The map will say like, hey, here's a shotgun and like 15 first aid sprays.
Right. But then it's like, what do you want to backtrack for? What's important to you? So I'd find myself gathering up all my shit, going to the next area, dumping them on the ground. Okay, going to try to solve the mystery, and then going back and grabbing all my shit again. Like I liked what it tried to do. Didn't grab me. I'm with you, Jerry. Not a fan. Not my favorite at all.
That's understandable, man. I just recently played it again. I forgot I had the HD version on Xbox Series X. It looks great. It sounds great. Yeah, it's a cool concept, but it's really fucking slow with what you mentioned, having to like dump items in one spot, go forward to progress the fucking game, and then come back to grab your shit. And then the character switching gets kind of fucking tedious at points too, especially like the first part where you have to do the character switching, where like was it Rebecca falls into that hole on the top of the train and Billy can't just jump in after her for some fucking reason, even though it's probably like what 10 feet, not even. Like, dude, I could make that fucking jump. I'm 34 years old.
Fucking Billy.
Billy's an old bitch.
Fucking Billy.
Yeah, dude.
Billy bitch.
He was like, nope, guess I'll go use the dumbwaiter and send her a fucking ice pick before I stab my brains out with the goddamn thing. And it just, it's kind of a slog at points. Like, it's cool fucking concept, but kind of a slog.
Yeah, I almost think if you're even a remote fan of the series and you've never played it, you owe it yourself to try it. But if you don't like it, it's kind of like reading a bad book or watching a terrible movie. You are not obligated to finish it.
Now, I have a wild suggestion, and this dawned on me like a few years back. So because I don't like Resident Evil 0 that much, I was like, I still kind of want to like know the story and stuff like that. Dude, just play the fucking rail shooter that covers all the Resident Evils on the Wii. Like, it's so fucking good because like you get all the shit from Resident Evil 0, and it's a fucking rail shooter. And dude, rail shooters.
Which one is that?
I think it's
Umbrella Chronicles and Dark Side Chronicles.
Yes, they're both fantastic.
Yeah,
and they're so much fun to play. And guess what? You finally get to play it in co-op. God damn it, you could play Resident Evil 0 in co-op then, because that's a co-op game.
I think so. As someone who never had to play 0 because scaredy little bitch, I really like a lot of the like decisions that they made, but the execution clearly failed in gameplay. So the ideas were interesting, like having the kind of like dual people kind of switch back and forth for kind of like, you could maybe do more interesting like in-depth puzzles with that, but fails apart in execution. And I think the train is cool, and I like the idea of kind of getting to experience maybe a bit more of what one of the other characters that you come across in the original was doing outside of when you're just seeing them in the original, but not, like you said, like had to retcon kind of stuff or work around it. So kind of, once again, fails a little in execution. So it's like a bunch of really interesting ideas that don't come together. And then I think the creators also hate Rebecca and Billy. And so they're not in anything like ever again. Billy's never seen again. That man is
Rebecca's picture is on in a picture in Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, but that's like
maybe he went to prison finally.
Yeah, no, he ghosted. He like
fucking
fully.
Get out of here with your tribal
he
tattoos,
maybe wasn't real the whole time. Like he, for as long as we don't know. Maybe he was the friends we made along the way. We don't know anything about Billy.
The real Billy was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
So
that's my line, damn it.
But like, and then like Rebecca's in like that one fucking movie for 15 seconds, and she is like, "Here's one line of dialogue about what I've been doing for the last 20 years," and then once again, doesn't do
canon? Is it canon?
Yeah,
she's selling Cybertrucks now.
I think all of the movies are supposed to be canon. This is what all of it's canon, Gerry. All of this stuff is canon. That's why I love it, because it's crazy.
And I could be mistaken, but I think series creator Shinji Mikami was on record and said that he does not like Rebecca. Period.
He hates her.
Like she's too meek and she doesn't assert herself. And it's
he's drawing this character on. He's just drawing this character on paper. He's like, God, I fucking hate this bitch already. He's like, Rebecca Chambers sucks, but he's like, she's gonna get killed early on.
Created character be like,
what's wild is he hates this character in a world where fucking Ashley exists.
He hates this character in a world where he made it up.
Yeah,
that's true.
He could have done something different. No, he's like, I'm going to commit to hating this character.
That's certainly cool to know, man. I didn't realize that everybody else kind of, well, maybe not everybody else, but I didn't realize that there'd be so many, like a consensus of like Resident Evil 0 isn't that great, because when it was reviewed, it got pretty good scores. It got like a high B, low A's.
I used to get those Game Pro magazines or whatever, and it used to be like fantastic with like the little guy like doing this thing, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta fucking get this, I guess. And I got it on GameCube, and I was like, this is not good.
At the time, it was probably great. New Resident Evil, the graphics for the time, and even the HD remaster they look great.
That's the thing. That is the thing.
It does look good.
It does look good, but this is at the same time when GameCube had exclusivity to that Resident Evil 1 remake, which
Mhm.
blew my fucking mind when I played that for the first time.
Good segue.
Yeah, real good
Well,
segue.
yeah.
I 100% tried it. I planted those seeds.
Yep.
But yeah, the Resident Evil 1 remake on GameCube is a fantastic game and damn near flawless. They added shit to it, and like, yeah, I have played the original PS1 and it's great. It's a classic. I would never say like, oh, you should play the remake over the original. Just pick one. If you like fucking low poly shit and nostalgia for the PS1, play that shit. Still good, but like the way that they remade that remaster was like genius. And at the time, I was like, holy shit, like this has to be the best graphics I've seen on the GameCube. Like it has to be. It was insano back then. And the fucking Crimson Heads, you can get the fuck out of here. You can get all the way the fuck out of here with those.
One of my favorite gaming enemies ever.
Dude.
Like, the whole concept behind that enemy is amazing to me. So for the uninitiated, let me paint this picture. Can we like dim the lights up in here somewhere?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get sexy, Aaron.
There we go. Yep.
I'm trying.
I appreciate that you guys tried. I from bottom of my heart, I appreciate that.
Aaron, you got any saxophone? You got some saxophone we can play maybe?
Yeah.
Hold
I
on.
thought Beth was going to be like, I have a saxophone. I'm
There. And
Where
turn
they
off some lights.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Beautiful. So in the Resident Evil 1 remake, when you take out a zombie in the original game, you take out a zombie, a pool of blood flows out, and you know you've killed it. You leave the room and you come back and the zombie's gone. Whatever. In the remake, the body remains for some reason, and it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to keep things more realistic. They got more graphical power, more memory, whatever. But as you go throughout the mansion and you're trying to solve this mystery, the enemy, the zombie, can actually come back as a Crimson Head zombie where their flesh is all red. But here's the thing. They're faster, they're deadlier, they run at you, they scream this inhuman kind of roar, and you don't know...
Run at you?
Do you remember the room that you first experienced one in? Do you remember?
Is that hallway with the mirrors on either end or whatever?
Yeah. And like, yeah, you go in there and as you're walking past one, because I mean, you go through this room like how many times you're backtracking and like going through the room back and forth, and then this one time in particular, as you're running past one of those zombies, it just lifts up and starts fucking dashing toward you. And I was just like, door, like,
and it just lets out this growl, man, just like, just
yeah.
And from that moment on, and this is why that enemy is so amazing, because now from that moment on, every regular zombie is a bigger threat. You don't know when they're going to come back. Now the game gives you the ability to actually burn the bodies with a lighter and fuel or flame rounds or whatever. Right, so you can burn them and they won't come back, but you can't do that to all the zombies in the game. So now you got to decide, do I let this zombie live and I just run around it and hope I don't get bit, or do I kill it and then hope to God it doesn't come back as this murderous Crimson Head later? It was tension personified. Fucking
that's awesome.
Genius game design.
Yeah, I honestly think that I would say that the Resident Evil like remaster is the best arguable case of actually you don't really need to play any other version than this one. Like, I think a lot of remakes or remastered, there is like a conversation to be had that like, you know, this doesn't change the old one. This remake doesn't change the quality of the other one. I think this is just definitively, honestly, a better complete version of this this game. And this idea of like, to the Crimson Head point, I think the genius in that game is that every time you feel comfortable, something changes to make you uncomfortable again. So you get comfortable with the zombies, Crimson Head. You get comfortable with the Crimson Head, here's hunters. You get like comfortable with the hunters, now you're at the final boss. So it's like you never really have, like, it always is like upping.
And then what's
like perfect pacing.
Lisa?
Like, and
when you meet Lisa, like that wasn't in the original.
A fantastic addition, and also very fun little. So there was this guy I watched like speedrun the remake like all the time, and that hallway with the 2 mirrors was like the murder hallway. It kills runs, it ends runs, and there's this specific there's kind of like a movement you can take, but it does take off like 0.5 a second. So most people like just dash and like pray to God and cross their fingers and hope they can do it. But
with those Crimson Heads, sometimes dashing is not enough because they kind of like jigger jagger all over the place.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
Like the guards in Oblivion. Stop right there, lawbreaker, and they're like 40 yards away. They're sprinting up to you.
Yeah, as someone who loved Oblivion and did not know what the gray fox cowl was going to do. I learned very fast the draw distance of those guards. Worst fucking thing ever.
I need to beat that remake. I don't think I've ever beaten the original Resident Evil for some ass reason, but I'll make a point of doing that this year.
Yeah, you
look at me doing a fucking episode about this series, but I haven't beaten most of the games.
You'll enjoy it. I agree with you, Beth. I think the remake is the definitive way to play. I'll always have a special spot in my heart for the OG. That was the game that turned me into a gamer, because that's the moment I realized that games could be so much more than just a high score or bleeps and bloops and all that sort of nonsense. Like
bleeps and bloops, I love that.
Yeah, bleeps were good, but god damn it, I couldn't get into the bloops.
Fucking bloops.
And in I guess like an Uncanny Valley kind of way too, those like early PS1 graphics are also pretty fucking freaky at times. Like the very first zombie you come across, and it's in that like
oh my God,
PS1
iconic
low res. Yeah, dude, it's still pretty goddamn freaky. Yeah, it's just Nomad did it perfectly.
It was to a point where I'll keep this short, but my favorite gaming memory is my dad brought this game home. I got it from a friend at work, I think, and he's like, "This is Resident Evil. It's rated mature, and you're not allowed to fucking watch me play it." I'm like what?
Get the fuck out of the room,
right.
Little Nomad.
So like
my mom was never like that. My mom was like, "Oh, that person's head got cut off. Maybe I should cover your eyes."
No, man.
Your dad just throws you out of the room by your ankles.
Well, it was to a point where we had just gotten the PlayStation 1, so it was the first time like we had like an up-res, like past the Super Nintendo graphic style type of a game system, and it's like he's like, there's blood, there's gore, and it's like, how bad could this possibly be? So like he'd play it, and I would sneak glances at this game through my bedroom door because it was like catty-cornered the living room, and like I saw that first zombie like turn his head, and I squealed, and of course he turns around and sees me. He's like, "What the fuck you doing back there?"
He does the same head turn. He's like,
exactly.
Son, what the fuck?
But we ended up playing the game not just together. He eventually let me play it with him, but he couldn't beat it. He kept dying, so I finally beat it with him, and it was my favorite gaming memory with my stepdad. And that game was like, this is where games are going now. So let's go. I'm in.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game.
Hell yeah.
Before we get to Resident Evil 2, how do y'all feel about tank controls? Because personally, I think they're not as bad as everybody says.
I fucking love a tank control, dude. I
they're
grew
pretty
up
cool,
with
dude.
Tank controls. Like the first 2 Resident Evils that I ever played were Resident Evil 2 and then Resident Evil 3. And at first, yeah, of course. Like at first, you're like, wait, what's happening right now? Like you know, coming off of Mario 64, where you just move the fucking analog, and then Mario does like all kinds of crazy shit. But like this was different because no matter what direction you were facing, if you just press up, you're just motoring in that direction. And I feel like it's one of those things that once it clicks, I can't I'd rather go and play a lot of these Resident Evil games with tank controls. Even when they did like the first remaster, not the remake of Resident Evil 4, and they added like the dual analog shit, I was like, nope. Give me the fucking weird tank shit. Like I want the tank shit. Same thing when they remastered Resident Evil 1 and brought it out like the HD collection thing.
The re-up.
Now we're getting to the Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Oh boy.
Triple antibiotic Kingdom Hearts rebirth diabetic.
Yeah.
Birth by sleep.
Best one.
All right.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Dose.
Dose is indeed A lot of people would say this is the best one.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that. I find it hard to find an argument that would say otherwise. It vastly improved on not just the original, but it improved on the original, and more so the gameplay, adding little quality of life adjustments, but more so the graphics were improved, the story was expanded. You can play 2 characters in separate campaigns, and then they had, I don't know why they called it this, they have the zapping system where what you do in one could influence the other. Like, not a ton, but enough.
The best. It's the best.
Yes, just it's done. Let's move on to number 3, because what else is there to say?
It is so genius. I'm sorry, having the A/B campaigns for like Claire and Leon, also 2 of the best characters in the series, and then having it be like these little kind of like dialogues back and forth between them, and like being like, oh, do I pick up stuff here? So, because maybe if I go on my other one, I need this here. I think that's just so smart. The replayability is like fantastic. And I think it's kind of when Resident Evil started to start to get into considering replayability as a main aspect of their like core identity, which is something that I think they do pretty well. And, something I will talk a lot about when we get to one of the only ones that I've actually played, which is 5. But I love 2, and I think that that's such an interesting concept and idea. And the remake is good and great and fantastic, but I actually think it's kind of failed a little in not implementing that system fully into it. In my opinion, I actually think that takes away a little from what makes 2 special.
Yeah, I think I agree with that a little bit. One thing I want to add, and I'll let you have it, Gerry. My favorite thing about Resident Evil 2, everything you just mentioned, Beth, but I think my favorite thing is that new enemy type that they came out with, the liquor. I'm sure we all remember the liquor the very first time, because if
that one's pretty fucking iconic.
It's not even just iconic, at least in my opinion, because of how it looks and acts and all that stuff, but I love the fact that it introduced this brand new, immediately more dangerous than a regular zombie enemy, like 15 minutes into this game. So now it's like you're automatically, like you said before, you're out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
The whole game, because now you've got this thing floating around, you don't know how to attack it, it's all new, and it's right from the get-go. It's that kind of game design that they keep adding on, and that helps make 2 such a great experience too, on top of everything else. So just I had to give a shout out to my favorite, the liquor.
All the claps.
Oh man,
take me to the pleasure dome.
The pleasure dome.
I was just gonna say that. So a couple of fun facts about Resident Evil 2. Number 1, it is black magic that they managed to get that game on N64. That game was not supposed to exist on N64. It was compressed in a way that a lot of developers are like, don't know how this works. I have no idea how this works.
Right. They still kept the FMV scenes.
Yeah, they had the fucking cutscenes. I mean, they were in like 2
beautiful cutscenes.
Like,
what was anything lost in the transition?
I don't think so, other than because like I was gonna say, I think maybe the only thing that might have been missing is like all of the FMVs, but I feel like they were all there. It's crazy. It's crazy how they did that. It's truly insane. And Capcom was just fucking doing this on the N64 because they did the same thing with Mega Man Legends. That also was not supposed to exist on N64. Too big.
Holy shit. Yeah, the N64 version had different costumes. You could change the blood color. There's a randomizer.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like,
so
not only did they
sweet.
get the game on there when it normally wouldn't have worked at all, they somehow managed to put more in, which is wild.
That's insane.
Another fun fact is this is the second game that I have ever played in my life that was a scary game. First game was Nightmare Creatures. Nightmare Creatures, I walked back to the video store after renting it. Like, I popped it in, something busted out of the wall, and I was like, nope, and I walked back to the video store.
You didn't even turn the power off. You were like,
I took the N60. I took the fucking whole N64 with me.
He's like, I'm good for the rest of my life.
Same thing happened with Resident Evil 2, and it was with the liquor. As soon as I seen the liquor on the window, I was like, don't think I can do this.
nope.
And I don't remember who it was I was hanging out with. They were like, well, just like try, like at least try it. I was like, I don't know, man. And you go through that door, and then it shows the cutscene with the liquor, and then immediately it's just like panic, just panic, because like you said, Nomad, you don't know how to handle these things. They're too fast. They're jumping all over the fucking place. And yeah, I was like, nope. Let's go get Buck Bumble again. Let's let's go get Frogger. Let's just take it fucking easy here. And yeah, that was a fun memory. I eventually did, grow a set of fucking balls and played the game and beat it on the N64. Probably a year later after I actually started playing the games. But this is one of those rare cases, again, where I will say the Resident Evil 2 remake, I believe, is one of the greatest video games of all time. And I think it almost negates having to play the original at this point. It is unbelievably fine-tuned and just is exactly what old Resident Evil fans wanted. Like, they basically were like, okay, I'd like you to make a list, please, of the things that you want in the Resident Evil 2 remake. And then they were like, okay, we're going to check all of these boxes, and then we're going to surprise you with other shit. And yeah, perfect video game. That's like a 10 out of 10 for me personally. I know they're not like, it's like a non-existent, like 10 out of 10
Everything's a 10 out of 10 for Gerry.
No. Just Goemon, caveman games, anything with a caveman and a ninja.
All the caveman
Here he
games.
goes again with the Goemon.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh man,
But Resident Evil 2 remake, dude.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I having played the original obviously made the whole experience that much better because you saw all the callbacks and the parallels and stuff like that. But I know plenty of people that jumped into the Resident Evil series for the very first time playing the number 2 remake, and that made them fans for life because they treated that game with such care. They kept the source material and the overall feel, and they added new ideas that didn't try to overshadow what made that game great before. It sounds simple to say it out loud because that's the key to a fantastic remake, but Capcom's like, no, we're doing this right. They did it right. They found a way to scare the shit out of me, and I'm pretty good about holding my own on these games. My balls dropped earlier than yours, Gerry, but
no,
but serious. No,
I guess by how time works. You were born first.
Okay, semantics, whatever. But no, seriously, it's a fantastic game. I actually go back to it every almost year now. I've played it every year since it came out, and I still feel like it's fresh every single time. Like, there's nothing better. There's not going to be anything better. There's going to be remakes that are going to be coming out for all sorts of games. There has been Dead Space, for instance. They will not touch Resident Evil 2. I'm done. Signing off. Damn.
I like that Capcom has done a great job of making, for the most part, almost the whole, like, the entire mainline series is readily and easily available on modern consoles, maybe except for, I think, Code Veronica. I don't know if it's on PlayStation. It's on PlayStation 5.
It's okay.
Code Veronica is on the PlayStation 4. I actually played it recently for my own podcast, shameless plug. But I downloaded it on the PlayStation 5, so it's accessible, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, and it's on.
I
mean, yes, it's physically accessible, so but good. As a game,
I don't know. I watched Gerry play it, and he was so bad at it. I don't believe he likes tank controls or knows how to. Like, I was like, Gerry, come the fuck on. This is so painful to watch.
Okay, we'll get to that one in a sec. We gotta do.
There's more.
We gotta do Nemesis first.
I love watching people speedrun to remake. It's such a fun speedrun. And, but because I had watched it so many times, when, fuckface locks Sherry in the room,
That's his official name. Canon.
That's his fuckface. It should be. If it
In
isn't
the credits,
already.
it's just like fuckface.
When he
Played
locks
by
the door,
another
he goes,
fuckface.
"Doors locked." I've watched that speedrun so many times that whenever I lock
I think I've heard you
a
talk about
door, I
this.
whisper under my breath, "Doors locked." So that's the brain rot. Like, that's the level of brain rot I have.
I think you talked about this on the horror games episode that we did for Super Ghost. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The rot is taking over. I have no memories.
That's fine. I say the same shit all the time. It's okay.
Cut this out.
No, it's staying in. Resident Evil 3 now.
Resident Evil 3 is good. The original Resident Evil 3 is fantastic. The remake, it's fine.
Wait, didn't they cut out the choices you could make?
They cut out
like a bunch of other stuff
in Resident Evil 3, dude.
Okay.
A lot. They cut out so much shit, but I feel like all the things that they cut out, they just put more focus on making Carlos's hair fucking better.
Which is his hair. Oh my god, so beautiful.
They got the team together in like a fucking writer's room, and they're like, "Okay, guys, so like, what are we working on now?" And they're like, "Okay, so we got 4 teams working on Carlos's hair. We're up to about 15 million polygons in Carlos's hair alone now."
Holy shit, it does look good. Jesus Christ.
Beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember much from the remake of Resident Evil 3 other than how good Carlos
I'm leaning forward. His hair is gorgeous.
God damn. That's insane. Sorry, continue.
Also, I want to slightly say, also just interject here. I do think, I don't know if
I'll allow it.
Well, get the panel's opinion. But I think it's probably one of the best versions of Jill, too. I think they did Jill really well in the remake.
Her character model, yes.
Her character model is beautiful, too. But I actually liked her characterization a lot in the remake, even though they did kind of leave out too many things.
Yeah, they dropped the ball a little bit on that one. It's still good. It's not that it's a bad game.
Yeah, it's. I agree with all that. I like her new characterization in the remake. I liked what they tried to do with her in the original. I liked the original RE Nemesis, but it was, what is it? It wasn't originally meant to be a mainline Resident Evil. That whole project, if I remember right, was actually a side game that they were developing. And they're like, you know what? No, we need to make this a mainline game, throw Jill in there and have her escape the city, because that was the premise we were going to use with a nameless protagonist, and go. So they didn't really have a lot of time to build a really big story, but they added some interesting things like the dodge mechanic when that worked 60% of the time. That was interesting. The live selection thing, I think, Aaron, you mentioned that earlier. I love the idea that when you're in certain situations of immediate danger, you're given a choice which can change the story or your immediate circumstances. So there's that replay value, Beth, that they're trying to build into the series. So that's all there. And everything else about it, I mean, it was a good experience. It was good. But then the remake, they took out too much. They reworked some things better, like Jill's character, but they took out the clock tower segment.
Carlos's hair. Don't forget Carlos's hair.
How dare I?
Shaggy as shit.
The hospital up until the horde part, where like you just were spending 15 minutes. Up until that, it was I liked the hospital a lot, and then there is that part, and you're like, oh, this feels like filler.
Right, exactly. It's like, hold off this wave of zombies for some reason or another. It's like, it felt very out of place, and then the last half of the game was just rushed. So it's like, I still enjoyed playing it. I platinumed it because I'm just a sucker for games, but I equate the Resident Evil 3 remake to a cheeseburger. A cheeseburger is good. You're always going to enjoy a cheeseburger. Is it a steak? No, but you're going to eat it anyway. So that's where I'm at with that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I heard, I don't remember. I don't think I was paying attention to these types of games at the time. But I remember people talking about, like, when 3 originally came out, it was also kind of pretty divisive and contentious, and people kind of were like, oh, it's the black sheep of the family. And now with the remakes, it's almost like it had a chance to correct, and then they repeat it instead. So, like, they ended up creating 3 Remake, which is sort of considered to be a little bit worse than all the other remakes that they've been doing.
I think that's probably pretty true. I personally,
I think that's interesting.
I think
it's like weird.
I think the original Resident Evil 3 is actually really good.
Yeah, I think people,
but it's
if I remember correctly, I was told that it was not super great, or like it was a little bit, at the time it was received a little bit like mixed. And then as time went on, people have become more positive on it. Is that,
Beth, do I have a story for
is
you?
Is that correct, or am I really wrong?
According to our, hold on, I'm trying to do the finger thing. According to our good friend Wikipedia, the official third co-host of the show, Resident Evil 3 got really good reviews, actually. Okay. Metacritic 91 out of 100. Okay, so,
then I've been lied to.
That's still just professional reviews, though, and not like consumer word of mouth. So then maybe that is true. Maybe that's true.
That's what I'm saying. I said, correct me if I'm wrong, because that was my understanding, and most of my experience with anything that's before like 5 has been really distilled through the people who I watch like speedrun or play. So that's, and they're, they probably weren't there either. They're young.
I found that there was one thing, it wasn't even about like they cut some of the stuff out of Resident Evil 3 that didn't sit right with me. It was the fact that I played the original Resident Evil 3, and at all times, every goddamn second of that game, I was scared of Nemesis. The entire time. Yeah. After hanging out with Nemesis for like 20 minutes in the remake, you're like, can you fuck off, dude? Seriously? I'm trying to do a puzzle, or like, I'm just trying to get to this thing. You're not scary. Ooh, booga, booga, booga. Like,
yeah,
get
it's kind of like you did Nemesis better in your other remake.
The Curse the Cowardly Dog. Booga, 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 booga. Stupid dog.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. There was something about him. He just became annoying, which was like, okay, you fucked up like the main thing for this game, because Nemesis, I would argue,
he's literally in the name.
Like that was the big takeaway from Resident Evil 3, was the fact that like you were never safe from this guy. He was constantly in pursuit, and it was like always intense. But yeah, they just made him annoying in Resident Evil 3. But I mean,
I kind of wish.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I
kind of wish that. It'd be cool if, like, in the Resident Evil remakes for like 1, 2, and 3 and all those, it'd be cool if they included like the original game as an unlockable within the game somehow. That'd be kind of cool. That
or do like the Dragon Quest thing where you can like switch on the fly to like the original.
You just need a HD 2D remake of RE3.
Holy fuck! Okay,
and make it turn-based.
HD 3D 2D.
Yeah.
Fucking
4D 3D 2D.
Minecraft voxel. Like,
yeah, let's just do that.
God damn it! Imagine being in like a place. So you're playing the Resident Evil 3 remake, and you're in some part that wasn't in the original game, and you try to switch to the original game, and the game's like,
will not load. No.
I think we all kind of agree to some degree on the state of Resident Evil 3. But
don't
I
rhyme
feel like
so much.
I'm not
awesome.
Starting to sound like fucking Dr. Seuss over here.
It's fine. He was a cool guy. Kind of. No, he wasn't.
Wasn't he an asshole to people?
Didn't he hate kids?
He was terrible. He was terrible to his wife or something. I remember, like, she was dying of cancer, and he did something. I don't know. Continue. Code Veronica.
Oh, that's a great segue.
Yes.
His wife was dying of cancer.
Too. Don't worry.
Speaking of which, let's talk about this game that made me want to die from cancer.
Sure was having a bad time.
Dude, this game needs a remake or something, because like I didn't think it was as good as people say it is. And I played it 2 years ago. We did that on Twitch.
Yeah, Bo, I think. That makes that makes sense. Fuck. I don't know. Time's all condensed, flat,
what is
circled.
Time? What is time?
So what was it, Gerry, that you didn't really click with? Because I'm curious, because I might rebuttal you here. I kind of like Veronica a little bit.
Fight him to the death.
Yep. Full disclosure, after listening to the entirety of Nomad's episode on my 4-hour drive back to my fucking hometown, it sounds pretty good, and I understand. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, continue.
I I just thought that
Fight.
the gameplay loop of Code Veronica was kind of boring to me. I didn't really like find myself enjoying the areas that much. Like there was something about it that I was like, And again, I'm not ashamed to say, like, I was constantly comparing it to other Resident Evil games. Like, you know, this isn't the mansion, this isn't the fucking police station. Like, it's not these things. And I know it's something different, but like, I don't know, there's something that just didn't click with me. But I will say my favorite part of that whole game is when Steve is trapped inside of a room and he's banging on a computer, and and you're supposed to save him, but I was like, actually, this is pretty funny. And like, I went over, and if you look through the window, it just shows him banging, and then it just subtitles Steve is suffering. And I was like, I want to get that on a fucking show.
Yeah.
Steve is suffering.
Yeah, they had a huge missed opportunity with that character. Now I defend him a little bit when I talk to him about in my own episode. I like what they tried to make out of him, but just no, the voice acting was terrible. His whole character arc was awful, and I did the same thing too. And I found out that when you beat Code Veronica and you get your end rank, your ranking will change a little bit depending on how quick you saved him. So I never perfected this game because I never fucking saved him quickly.
Because his suffering is funny.
Especially when you wait for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then you finally do the puzzle, and then like he just sprawls out of this thing like, oh my god. It's just like, that's what you get, you dick.
Yeah.
Wasn't he supposed to be Leon? Like, wasn't that the original direction for his character? Weren't they trying to put Leon in this? And then they were like, actually, maybe we don't. And then they changed it like the last minute or something. I swear I did not dream this. I seen this somewhere. I
heard
sure
that too, but I've also clearly been hearing wrong information already. So
I've never heard that, so that's anything's possible, really. All I know is at one point, I think
maybe I heard it from Beth.
It could be. I'm just starting missing. I am the disinformation machine.
Well, when this game originally came out on the Sega Dreamcast, I think it was Steve's character design and the way that he had his hair. They got in trouble because he looked like Leonardo DiCaprio. Right. Yeah. So new versions of the game, they had his hairstyle changed up because
I just couldn't get over how he talked like Link from the fucking Zelda cartoon. Like he was like, "Well, excuse me," like he was like so fucking like, "Get the fuck out of here, Steve."
I know this guy.
I can't wait for you to suffer again.
Yeah. But I don't know, but I like Code Veronica overall. Obviously, that's kind of my opinion of it. But Gary, I do agree, and I had the same feelings too. The way this game is structured is there's a lot more backtracking than your usual Resident Evil game. Like, backtracking is just kind of a staple in survival horror. You got to go do the thing, and then you find the key item you need, then you go back and do it's just what it is. But you're constantly going back to the same areas. So yeah, they get old after a while. Plus, there's areas like there's one underground area with this giant ass aquarium in one corner and then like luggage in another, and it's just this big open gray area. There's a lot of those kind of empty spaces when you're walking around, so there's not a lot of environmental eye candy, I guess, to say. So I agree with you. Pacing was bad, and you're in the same areas all the time, so it's really hard to connect with the game in that way. So that's the one thing I'll agree with you on. Other than that, I as an original OE type of Resident Evil, I really liked it a lot. Granted, the character animations were stiff as a board sometimes. Like if you're trying to pivot Claire around on your old tank control kind of thing, she looks like a fucking mannequin.
Hell yeah!
But
like in Final Fantasy X, anytime anybody turns around, there's like, hang on, I'm trying to get my hand like zoot,
right?
And all their legs would move like in place, and then. Yeah, that's the best.
Right, but I liked what they tried to do. I liked some of the little gameplay additions too. Like you could dual wield guns for some asinine reason. Like okay, that's fun, I suppose. I liked what they tried to do. I liked the story. It's one of those you have to read a lot of the files to really get a lot of the backstory. But for a Resident Evil story, I thought that was one of the more interesting ones. Right behind Leon, Claire is my second favorite Resident Evil character. I've got I love her to death. So I love playing as her, and just I liked it overall. It still will never be my favorite, but I have a soft spot for that game.
Claire's my favorite, so like, I really like that game. But I love the story of Code Veronica so much. I think the twins are really interesting villains. They're like really eccentric.
I'll give you that, yeah.
And I like that as a kind of other side of like the villains of this like oppressive organization, or everything else is like serious, and you got these weird ass twins, and I love them for that.
I don't know who did Alfred's voice acting,
so
but
good.
he put his heart and soul into that thing.
That man had to feed his children. Like, it was so good. I love him, and I love the story, and it feels like with the confrontation at the very end of the game with like Chris and Wesker, it does feel like more of a conclusion to like the Raccoon City umbrella like stuff than maybe like that's like the like fullest conclusion I feel like we got for like ever. I don't know if it's really been a good one, because then you pick up with like the next 4 and it's like, well, we're done with that, and you're like, but you built this up for all this time, and then it's like kind of concluded in a kind of forgotten about side game in a way, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah, they made that conscious effort too. Like the way I understand the story, Code Veronica I think was going to originally star Jill before they threw her on number 3. But at the end of Resident Evil 2, if you're playing Claire's, I think scenario B, she says, I have to find my brother, and then they end it. And apparently that was not supposed to have been in the script, and someone made a last minute change, and they're like, oh shit, now we have this cliffhanger. We have to have Claire go find her brother. So they put her in this game, put Chris in this game, added Wesker, tied up all these loose ends, and from a story perspective, it's actually done really well. It's just a lot of the gameplay was a miss. Like, speaking of Chris, you play as him as in the second half of the game, but like the first third of his play is just a waste. You're going through areas that Claire's already been in to solve all these puzzles, and only 2 major plot points happen. Chris figures out that Claire's in Antarctica, and he finds a plane to get there. Everything else in those 4 hours of you trying to solve puzzles means jack squat, and it shouldn't even have been in the game.
I agree. I think that you do all of the island with Claire, and then just switch to Chris being in Antarctica and like do that part with him. And I liked having a game with this like the siblings, actually playable, both of them being playable together. Even though I know you're not like co-op or anything, but it's nice to have them. It's like the only like family dynamic you have up until that point, so it's kind of cool to have them see that through, and yeah, Claire's just my fucking favorite, and I want her to be in everything. So
well, she's not in Resident Evil 4, and goddamn it, that's up there. That's one of the ones, man. That's like one of the ones that
I played Resident Evil 4 so much that I maxed out the amount of money you could carry. Like, I had no reason to keep playing.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah, dude. Damn. I will never forget finally getting to play Resident Evil 4 on GameCube back in the day, like launch month. It was in the window of the month that it came out. And I just remember being like, oh, this is something else. Like, this is way different. I'm scared.
An entirely new beast.
Yeah, like it was a completely different spin on Resident Evil, but somehow they managed to be like, no, we get it. Like, you guys are protective over this franchise and how it operates, but hear us out. We want to try something different. How about we take one of the fucking coolest characters, give him even more quips, put him in an even really cool
the best jacket.
Yeah, the best jacket, the best hair,
that he
the best
loses about halfway through.
Terrible.
And like put him in a fucking awesome environment that had like just such tightly knit exploration. Like not you're not fucking going around and exploring an open world or anything, but it was just so cool how they like looped different things back around through that whole
village and shit.
Village, and then the castle. Like, there was it was like a return to making that franchise fresh again and just putting their foot down and being like, no, we are the fucking kings of survival horror. Here's why. And it fucking blew me away. And then, fast forward to, what was that, last year with the remake? Holy fucking shit. And I'll admit, I was one of the people that was like kind of on a soapbox going, do we need this? Like, seriously, this game is not even that old. And then I started like doing the math and I'm like, actually, this game is kind of old now. What the fuck? And then
that happened.
I know, like, wait, it's how old? And I was reluctant to kind of sign on to this. And then I the more I thought about it, I'm like, I bet you this is still probably going to be good. And then the more I seen about it, I was like, oh, fuck, I got to get this game. And God damn it, they blew my expectations out of the water because they added shit in. Like, if you were familiar with the game, like Nomad, you and I are probably the same. You probably knew every nook and cranny, every fucking gun location, where to find this, spindles, fucking medallions.
Like the broken butterfly.
Everything.
How to get that super fucking early.
Like, I knew fucking everything inside and out. So when you play the remake, when you're like, oh, I know what's up in that tower, some ammo. I'm going to go up there, and then the tower fucking collapses on you, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, they started pulling the rug out from underneath, like, veterans, people who were familiar with the game.
I like the idea of, like,
really
someone
cool.
from Capcom throwing open the door, slapping you across the face, and going, "You thought, bitch!" Like, and it's you're just like, whoa! That's that moment.
That is exactly what they did with that game. It goes back to Resident Evil 2 remake. They kept the source material, they kept the feel of it, and they added those things, and they tweaked just enough to create a unique experience. And that was that moment, Gerry, when I was falling through the tower, like mid-fall, time slowed down, my eyes got wide, and I'm like, they fucking did it. This is new and exciting again, and I'm all in. And from that point on, everything was new and fresh. New things that they implemented. I loved how they implemented that knife, right? Where in the original Resident Evil 4, it was right, just spam the hell out of it. You just shoot someone in the head, do a roundhouse Chuck Norris style kick to the face, lean Leon down on his little pivot, whatever that.
Oh, and that was
slice.
That was the only way to play.
Slice them up, save that ammo.
So much ammo.
Right, but now it's a parry mechanic, and just it added a new and interesting wrinkle that didn't feel like it was sabotaging what made the game good originally. And if there's anything that's, to me, the most memorable thing about this game is how they redeemed arguably the most annoying character in this fucking series and made Ashley Graham likable. Gave her a personality, gave her a character
even
arc.
Her section, like her section in
Leon!
Oh my god!
Fuck,
they age
dude.
her up too, so they're like, we're not creeping on 16-year-olds.
Little bit. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that the original voice actress for Ashley in the OG Resident Evil 4 is the same voice actress that does Sandy Cheeks in SpongeBob SquarePants?
I could see it now. Now that you've put a name to the name. Yeah.
Wait a second. I'm only just now piecing it together. Sandy Cheeks, like sandy ass cheeks. I was today years old.
Oh my, Gerry.
There you go. You come to the Super Pod Saga to learn shit, and there you go.
Exactly. One of the coolest things I like that they did with the Resident Evil 4 remake was it feels way more survival horror than the original Resident Evil 4 did.
Yeah.
Because in Resident Evil 4, like the original, I was always up to my nips in ammo. I was just completely fucking inundated with handgun ammo. But with the remake, the shit was way more sparse. You didn't have nearly as many green herbs stockpiled in your fucking cool like Samsonite briefcase. You it just felt like you had to ration more supplies. You couldn't tank as many hits in the remake, which I like, but yeah, it was an awesome fucking remake, man. They nailed it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic gamble originally when they made the first Resident Evil 4 to take the series in a new direction, inject new life into it, and find a way to just continue this wonderful legacy. It's one of the greatest games ever made, and they remade it and made it even better. So, tip of my non-existent cap.
And not even that. They, like the original GameCube version already had pretty goddamn great replayability because you get the infinite rocket launcher, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll fucking speed run this shit, just blast my way through everything. And then I think it was like the PS2 version. They were like, hey, if you beat it on professional, you get a cool laser gun, and then you do that. And then the fucking mercenaries mode. Oh my god, that shit was so much fun.
Yeah.
It got even better with 5, but yeah, I had way too much fun playing as Krauser and the mercenaries and trying my goddamnedest to get that hand cannon, dude.
And here's
So good.
something else too, and I kind of get everyone's feelings on this. This game had quick time events that I actually found enjoyable.
Yeah.
They weren't terrible.
I think QuickTime events aren't bad when they're implemented in like a set piece moment. It's just when they're overused and then like done to death as the industry, the gaming industry, just like every fucking game had QuickTime events every 15 minutes. That's exhausting. But like when they're smartly implemented, it does help like escalate or bring tension to a moment. Like Spider-Man does like really good QuickTime events. So like,
especially when you fail that one certain one I'm thinking of. I'm gonna die.
I just think that they're so more fun. So can be done. It can be done.
And they
right.
don't.
There you go.
And they don't punish you too hard for failing those QuickTime events in Resident Evil 4 either, because it's just like usually you're not too. Well, I guess they just like checkpoint you from where you died, unless I'm thinking incorrectly. But like it'll be like Leon running from that fucking boulder, Indiana Jones style, and then God forbid you don't go one way, and then he gets smushed, and then it's like reload your save, yeah, and boom, you're right there.
Run!
Beth, do you remember what Greg...
Get to running, motherfucker.
Do you remember what Greg did to me with the fish? In Resident Evil?
You never knew! Oh my god!
I didn't know. He was like, dude, you can unlock like a fucking sweet fucking weapon early. And I was like, what? What? No. Are you serious? He was like, do it. Wow. Just go up and shoot these fish. And I was like, okay. And then my fucking soul left my body. So if you don't know, if you go to the lake before you get into the boat on the wharf, there's like some fish. And if you shoot the fish, I think if you shoot them enough, like if you just keep shooting the water, the giant fucking sea monster that you fight out on the lake like does a jump scare. It comes out of the water at you.
Yeah, well, it doesn't just come out of the water at you. It fucking kills you.
Fucking kills you.
Yeah. Fucking kills you. And that's funny. You were tempted with a weapon. I was tempted with just see what happens. And I was left with just morbid curiosity. Like, all right, I'll see what happens. And oh my God. I lost a friend that day.
My friend who got me, so like I started playing with 5, but the friend who got me into it was like, I'll run through 4, like let me do this. So I was watching her play through 4, and she just was like, I'm just gonna go over by this lake and shoot at the water a couple times. And then the thing came up, and I was like, you bitch, you motherfucker! She's like cackling.
What I liked about the Resident Evil 2 or 4 remake is they kept that in there.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was I'm gonna go see if I can get my ass eaten. But there was just enough.
Oh yeah. There was always at Denny's.
Maybe I should have worded that differently. Anyway,
nope. Beautiful, love it.
I came to Spain to get my ass ate.
No.
A lot of people's experience.
I mean, I would.
Are we still talking about Resident Evil 4?
Yeah.
By the way,
it's a quick time event.
I love the use of eggs in this fucking game. It's so stupid. You could just like chuck eggs at enemies and blind them. Like, why the fuck would you do that? But of course, in Spanish, or you could just eat the egg and Leon doesn't fucking die. But I mean, that's
just heals wounds,
cool.
Right? Just egg.
Yeah, he just
egg to the face.
He just Rockies that shit.
¿Dónde está la paño? Or whatever that is. I speak like 1.2% Spanish.
Yeah, you just shoot a zombie in their head, it blows up. It's like, Mission Worldwide.
Right. For those of you that haven't played it before or haven't played it a long time, you don't need to now. This is the experience.
Wow. This is it, man. Dude,
oh my God. The Iron Maidens Get the fuck out of here.
Which ones were those?
That's those fucking crazy, like, twitchy dudes that you had to use, like, the infrared scope to kill.
Yeah, the regenerators, and then
you need to shoot those little parasites inside of them.
Yeah, the regenerators were your standard ones, the big hulking gray things that had that kind of sound or whatever it was. And then those Iron Maidens you're talking about are the same enemy type, but they got these spikes coming out.
Oh, yeah.
So like they'll grab you and just pull you into themselves, and you're just fucking skewered like a kebab. It's like,
you know what, the most unsettling part about that enemy is the first time that you finally like kind of not knowing what you're supposed to do, or like even after you like shoot one of the little like red orb thingies and they go down and you're like, oh, okay, it's down, and then they slither. Like they do like a snake slither on the ground. Fuck all that. That was gross.
Oh,
It's fun.
By the way, gigantic shout out to the attachment, like the weapon attachment system, because that shit is so good. Like the way you can just like pick and choose different weapons and customize them and upgrade them and shit. God damn it, that was so much fun. Again, adding to your replay value even further. You could be like, okay, I'm just gonna go all shotguns this time, or oops, all snipers, and try to do shit that way. But
if you think about it too, it was one of the first Resident Evils that had kind of mild RPG elements. You can slowly upgrade and level up your weapons with the
fuck. Where's Mike?
I was gonna say, I bet you Quest 64 Mike would have something to say about this.
Fuck. Listeners, we did an episode all about what makes an RPG, where we tried to pick and choose the different characteristics that define what an RPG is. Mike, if you're listening to this, Resident Evil 4 is not an RPG. Fight me. Continue.
Everything's a puzzle game.
Yeah,
I guess. I mean, you're right.
I just see
Life is a
Aaron's
puzzle.
brain stop working.
Life is a highway,
Yeah.
and I want to ride it. Oh, how's the song go? Sing it,
All
Gerry.
night long,
Yeah, there we go.
I think.
Hey, if you're going, hey, are we done with
Karaoke?
Resident Evil 4? Should we take an ad break? Yeah.
Oh, is it time for an ad break?
Smells like an ad break.
Yeah, let's fucking do the ad break.
Must be an ad break. We'll be right back. Let's take a minute to thank the real sponsors of Super Pod Saga, the real MVPs, the real stars of the show, the official superstars, I guess, the patrons. Each and every one of you is a superhero, and I really mean that. It means just the world to me. But yeah, thank you a lot. It's so cool, so awesome. Let's thank all of them. Let's go. A Novel Console, Jared Schrader, Jameson Empire, Adam Phineas, Trey, Adam Forrester, Jeff Miners, Jenny E, Kevin Demo, Thrack, Mr. Kwong, Matt aka Stormageddon. Every single one of you are just the best. I'm giving you a big, huge salute right now. You can't see it because I'm a dingus, but yeah, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the bonus content. If anybody out there listening to this wants to subscribe to the Patreon and get some cool bonus content, help out the show, help me, help Gerry, whoever, there's a link in the episode description, or just go to patreon.com/superpodsaga. It's all there. There's 2 tiers, $4 a month. All of you guys, thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. If you're a fan of coffee and you're looking for something different, I think we've got just the thing for you. That's Bones Coffee. Bones Coffee is not your usual coffee company. Of course, it's all sugar-free, gluten-free, all that stuff, because it's just coffee, nothing added to it. But they roast each batch of coffee beans to your order, and they've got just a bazillion different flavors to choose from. They've got your usual French vanilla, salted caramel, they've got Irish cream, of course they've got decaf, single origin coffees like Kenya, Guatemala, stuff like that, even what they call high voltage, which is extra strength, extra caffeine. But they have all sorts of other awesome kind of out of the box flavors. They've got ones like cotton candy, maple bacon, and even mint chocolate chip ice cream. And they're always coming up with new crossover flavors, like they've done a bunch for Nightmare Before Christmas, Indiana Jones, even Spider-Man, of all things. And they're also coming up with new seasonal flavors all the time. If this sounds right up your alley, feel free to use the link in our episode description and use coupon code SUPERPODSAGA at checkout to get 20% off your order. That's SUPERPODSAGA at checkout to get 20% off your order. And if you're not just in the market for coffee, you can also get some sweet mugs. They've got lots of cool shirts. They've got all sorts of different brewing equipment like French presses, stuff like that. Just head on over to bonescoffee.com, or again, use the link in our episode description and get 20% off. Get yourself a new interesting flavor and spice up your morning routine with Bones Coffee. I really hope you enjoy. I'm a really big fan of it, and I hope you find one that really hooks you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one.
Ooh. Okay. Made me a little moist.
Get a little swampy down there?
Hey, Gerry. Hey, Gerry.
Yeah.
I know you like food. Food's cool, right?
Yeah.
What if I were to tell you there's a way to make your food a completely different color in a safe and fun way?
I'd say you're a lying son of a bitch. Tell me more.
Okay, so they have food coloring, right? But that only really works, like, in liquids, I guess. Introducing food paint. You can paint your food different color. Fuck, this one's stupid. Let's fucking skip
What
it.
is going on?
Oh yeah,
So,
you don't
just
know.
so-
You drugs?
Beth doesn't
so
know
Beth,
the things.
in every Super Pod saga, and I guess Retro Rehab also, we just make up different ads or different sponsors for the show, and it's always fucking stupid.
Beth probably thought she was having a fucking stroke. I don't know. It's
This
like
is
we're
going to
taking
test
like,
your improv skills.
Oh,
You want to talk
Yeah.
about fucking paint on food? Like what's happening?
Is this a you guys thing? You guys are gonna rip off each other? Do I have
And
to
you can-
participate?
You don't have to do anything.
can, but you don't have to.
If you're like,
Okay.
oh, I thought of a good thing to slide in here and say, you fucking go ahead and say it.
Here we go. Oh no. Okay. So I upped the ante on this one. Okay. So yeah, Gerry, you can have your purple cheeseburger if you want. You can have totally red spaghetti if you want, even though spaghetti's already kind of red, whatever. But what if I were to tell you this paint also changes the flavor of your food completely? That's right. You can have a purple spaghetti that tastes like
Grapes?
cardboard. Yeah, grapes.
spaghetti?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Oh,
The
that's
purple
good.
chicken nugget guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, does it just taste like grapes with the texture of chicken
Probably.
nuggets?
Do we
How
need
long
to
has
take
this
a bite out of
technology been
Grimace?
around?
Since now. You could. So Gerry, starting right now, food paint. We're calling it food paint.
Foodpaint.com
Food Paint
/ Christ
Incorporated.
Alive.
.com 40% off. Yeah, you can paint your food any one of whatever colors in the rainbow. Each one has a flavor. You know, yellow. What is it? It's Roy G. Biv. Red is cherry. Orange is orange. Yellow is lemon. All that shit. Gerry, what foods do you like to paint?
I like to paint my toenails, so I typically like to make them taste like hamburgers. So that way, when Karen sucks on my big
yes.
toe, it's like, you want a taste of this fucking cheeseburger right now, Karen? Come on, you taste
This
fucking
burger toe?
You want this burger toe?
This cheesy toe?
If I call the FDA, will they stop this?
Cheeto? No.
There's no way they can. It's already happened.
They own 50% of the share market or something. They've become far too powerful.
No, this product has nothing but opportunity. I am an avid steak eater, and what I like to do, and especially for those of you that don't like to eat meat, all you have to do is turn your steak green so it tastes like salad, but you're getting protein the El Natural way.
That's right.
Take that, vegans.
Just pretend like the animal didn't suffer when it died. It tastes like grass.
Because, yeah, that's the reason why vegans don't want steak. It's because they don't like the taste.
Exactly.
Mystery solved.
It looks like steak. It's got the texture of
Fucks
steak.
like steak, for sure.
It fucks like steak. It smells like steak, but it doesn't taste like it. Therefore, it's not.
Yep.
Checkmate, vegans.
That's
It's your move. I don't know. Hey, Beth, what foods do you like to paint?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, we're painting the food.
Yes.
So, does it taste like the thing only on the outside or on the inside too? Because if I can only paint the outside, then I don't know how
Well, how
I
about
feel
this,
about
Beth?
this product.
If you want to paint a banana white and give it white privilege, go right ahead. That's it. I don't know what white privilege
flavor.
tastes like.
He said vanilla.
Vanilla.
He answered that.
It's vanilla.
Vanilla
Yes.
is a good flavor. And banana flavored vanilla.
Ooh, vanilla
Ben and
flavored
Jerry's
banana?
new flavor.
Okay.
White privilege vanilla.
Jerry, this just in. Jerry, beep, 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 beep. This just in, Jerry. These food paints can also be used as condiments. Pop the top off of your cheeseburger. They give a little squirt of blueberry, I guess, or blue raspberry. Blue raspberry cheeseburger, baby.
That's right. Blue raspberry
Give it a little
cheeseburger.
dip.
And I do hear that there's a DLC coming up for this that is
Jesus Christ, it's DLC.
it's a crossover with Retro Rehab.
Christ almighty.
And it's Purple Piss Kid Purple. And all you do is you squirt that shit all over anything, and it's gonna taste like purple piss.
Is that sponsored by Go Piss Girl?
Yes. And 2 girls, 1 cup.
Whatever that is, yes.
I can't wait to buy this product. Where can I purchase it? Because
www.
Because everything about it sounded so appealing.
Yes. You want hamburger toast? You got it. You want fucking white bananas? You got it. All you gotta do is go to www.foodpaint.com/ChristAlive/paint me like one of your French ladies /dine and dash /fuck me Jesus.
I think you've cornered a really good market on the people who are really into feet.
Oh, I mean, she's got a point. Yeah, I mean, normally,
You said to
I
tell
guess
me
you could just
nothing.
put a. I guess normally you could just put maybe like a flavored condom on there, but market corner, just dip your foot in some vanilla. Good to
I
go.
can tell you something else I'm gonna dip in that vanilla, you know what I'm saying?
Sponsored by OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh man, you've heard of what the fuck am I trying to say here? You've heard of like, I don't know.
You've
This-
heard
this
of
episode-
you've heard of fondue.
sponsored by OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Introducing the edible palette. Now you can mix colors on this edible palette. It's made out of a cookie or something. No, it's tortilla. I don't know. You can mix colors. It's like how you mix like those Jelly Belly jelly beans and make stupid shit like PB&J, but it doesn't taste like PB&J because it's fucking jelly beans. You can mix like blue and red and make purple.
And if you go,
but it doesn't taste like grapes. It
New.
doesn't taste like grapes. It tastes like a mix of like blue raspberry and cherry.
hell yeah.
Boom, game completely changed.
Also-
Yes, go ahead.
Life hack. If you want some real good food paint hacks, go to the YouTube channel. I seen a hack the other day. They were showing you how to paint your eyelids to make them taste like fucking orange pico tea.
Who's tasting your eyelids? What? Huh?
Buddy, don't knock it till you try.
This is
Just get them eyelids a good lick.
some pico not pico de gallo. What's
Pico
that
de gallo
cactus
eyelids?
drug? What's the cactus drug again?
Cactus drug.
It's the drug that comes from a cactus.
Pico de gallo.
Peyote, not pico de
I
gallo.
was gonna say
goddamn, it's
pierogies.
So fucking
So,
stupid.
Pierogies.
Oh, dip your pierogies in some yellow.
yeah.
Some lemon pierogies. Okay. Hey, thank you, foodpaint.com/ChristAlive/fucking kill me please for sponsoring this episode.
was that?
Call now. Gerry, are we back?
Ooh, we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Back in the New York
Um,
groove.
Oh no. Call him off.
Call 'em
I
up.
needed assistance.
Fuck around and find out.
That's what we'll pay him off with plenty of purple. Here you go, officer. Here's a good handful of purple. And you just bam.
Yeah.
Oh, this tastes like piss.
They would like that.
Could you imagine paying like police officers off with just like a cup full of fucking paint? Yeah, beautiful. Resident Evil 5, everybody. They're in Africa.
We're getting better at this segue thing, I think.
Yeah.
Best
The
one
rains
yet.
down in Africa.
This podcast has 0 flaws. I'd like to see anybody try to challenge and say otherwise.
Otherwise, I have to fight Gerry on Twitter.
Ooh.
That's right. Yeah, Pitbull's gonna come after us now.
Where?
He's gonna be like I'm Pitbull on this podcast. I don't know how the fuck he
That's
talks.
exactly
Um,
it.
Sounds like fucking Fozzie Bear.
I'm podcasting
Yeah.
super.
Is Pitbull here?
Is
when
Pitbull
did he
Fozzie
join
Bear?
here?
Fozzie Bear ate my ass at Denny's? Question mark.
In Spain.
Spain at a Spanish Denny's.
Fozzie Bear, will you lick
Yellows.
my ass? Yeah, bitch, lick my ass.
Resident Evil 5, though. Holy
I'm
shit.
sorry,
Get
I
out
broke
of Spain
Nomad.
and go to Africa.
Exactly. Oh man, I played the shit out of this game with some of my old roommates. We played the co-op numerous times, and it's just a blast. Like the game itself and like the story is just wackadoo all over the place, but it's a good fucking time.
So this is actually the one mainline Resident Evil I played the least, and I haven't played it since I first played it, so I actually don't remember a lot about it. Well, actually, the one thing I do remember is I didn't have any fucking friends when I was younger that played Resident Evil games, so I never got to experience this with a friend, so that kind of sucks. But I did get to experience the magic that was a grown, bulky-ass man punch the shit out of a boulder, and it inspired me to not do anything with my own personal health, but I thought it was cool to watch.
That man is so yoked that you're like, what's the point?
Right.
You know?
Chris
Just
made
accept
sweet consensual love to that boulder. He was like, yeah.
Now, like
It's so good.
Now, from a story standpoint, let's roll back to Veronica really quick, because this actually kind of makes sense. Chris gets his ass beat by Wesker at the end of Code Veronica, so now it's like, I would assume Chris is like, I'm going to bulk up, I'm going to start doing protein bars, dipped in sour cream possibly, and just...
He's got to dip him in some yellow. Got to dip
There
him in
you go.
yellow first.
So,
It makes sense.
Yep.
so kind of...
Full fucking
So it
circle.
kind of makes sense, and at the end of the game, he's pretty fucking pissed off too. So yeah, that boulder's taking the brunt of it. But no, in all
It's between
seriousness,
him and Wesker. Like, he's...
this is it.
Oh, question for you, Nomad. Before you begin, I know there's like a couple of like flashback cutscenes in Resident Evil 5, I believe, where like Chris is fighting Wesker in like a mansion or something, and one of them gets
Yeah.
thrown out a window. Is that from Code Veronica?
No.
Oh.
So before Resident Evil 5 starts and after Veronica and all that sort of stuff, from what I remember,
What?
what is happening?
I don't
Beth,
know.
Why are you laughing?
I got really...
Listeners,
because I
Beth is on
remember
crack.
Talking about
About-
the DLC is so good, and when you
Oh.
brought it up, I was
Oh,
like, oh
that's
my god,
right.
it's that DLC, and I got way
It
too
is.
excited. And
Sorry, Nomad. Go ahead.
No, Beth, do you want to talk about this part? I don't want to steal this moment from you. You are on fire right now.
Beth just made herself
She's
look
had way
like,
too
like
much
one
yellow.
of those like fucking 16th century like paintings of like someone just being like looking to the sky and being like, oh.
oh my god, I love 5 so much. I played the fucking shit out of 5. Like, I wanted to get the trophy, so I had to get all of the collectibles in all of the different things, and to do that I needed so much fucking money, and I just was like, played that game an insane amount of times. But the DLC is so good, and it really sucks that like it isn't. I think it's a golden edition. Like, if you buy it any version now,
Yeah,
it
because
just is there.
you made me buy that because you were like, I want to play Resident Evil 5 with you, and I was like, Resident Evil 5 is not that good though, and you were like, have you ever played a co-op?
the
And I
fuck
was
up.
like, nope, can't say I have. And that's the thing, Nomad, you played it solo, right?
Yep.
it's an okay game solo. You start playing with a friend in co-op, dude, that changes that game completely.
The whole fucking thing. Yeah.
Good. And so there's the DLC. It's the DLC where you play as Chris and Jill leading up to that fight with Wesker, and you're in a mansion, and it's like the foyer is a redesign. It's basically the same house from 1. So when like Chris and Jill like walk in, they have a moment of being like that spooked out, like, oh my god, we're back here again, like what the fuck is going on. Little fun note though, if you turn around and you click on the door 3 times, it changes all of the camera angles in that foyer to fix cameras. So
goes old school.
So cool. I love
That's cool.
it. And then I played that DLC with my little brother, who since 5, when I got into 5, I got him into Resident Evil, and then since then I watch him. He's kind of like who I watch play all the Resident Evil since. But we played that together, and there are these like huge fuck off monsters that like you can't really destroy in the DLC. And the first time you encounter it, I was like backed up against the wall because I was like, something's coming. I can hear it. Something's coming. So I backed up against the wall being like, I'm safe in the corner. And then all I saw, like from my point of view, was like around Jill, all of the wall started to crumble around, and I quick turned and it was right there. And I was like quick turned again and like just screamed and started fucking taking off. And my brother was like, what is going on? What is going on? And I was just screaming and running. Like I couldn't communicate. And there's like a really great moment in it too, and there's 2 of them, and you have to kind of like dodge in between while solving puzzles.
That's cool.
It's so good. It's like amazing. I love that game. It's also the only time, not in that DLC, but in one of the chapters, there's 2 Chainsaw Man that you have to fight. And I got so tense doing that for the first time because I didn't play I don't play horror games. I don't like things that are scary. I got so tense, I got a foot cramp, and I had to pause because my foot seized up, and then I was like, oh my god, and I got a real life injury because I was so freaked out. I love that game to death. The literally first experience with it was my friend handed me the controller during the Wesker boss fights at the hangar because it was like 2 of my friends and they were playing, and then one of them went to the bathroom and he handed me the controller and was like just hold down the fort. All you need to do, you have a sniper, shoot him with the sniper. That's it. And so I was like, okay. So I like shot him with the sniper, and he went. Turned, looked at me, and zoomed at me while I was zoomed in on him with the sniper, and I actually threw the controller at my other friends. I was like, ah! And it's like, I love this fucking game. It's great with friends.
That's so fucking crazy.
Makes it way better with co-op. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's the best. I love it to death.
I have been dying to go back to it. Like, really, the fondest memory I have of that game is trying. I tried to get all the trophies too, so I played it a lot, even though I played it by myself. But I still remember the one trophy that you got, or achievement or whatever, where you have to bat an arrow out of the air with your knife. And I remember trying to do that over and over again, stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. It wasn't as memorable for me, and I think it was because of that co-op element was lost on me. But I've always wanted to go back to it. I don't really have a bad memory of the game, really. I think the pacing was fine. The story was fucking batshit crazy, but whatever. At that point, again, your suspension of disbelief is just, it is what it is. But yeah, Beth, I'll leave an open invite. If you ever want to play this game and you need a pal,
every time anyone wants to play
get hold of me. I'm down.
I will play Resident Evil 5 with everybody. When I was doing the trophy run, I played with strangers online. Like I was in those lobbies. I bought a Bluetooth headset so I could like talk to people. Like this was the game that I was like I'm
a fucking taxi driver.
Well, I had a couple really negative experiences with some people.
Oh,
so
God.
I ended up having to actually give the headset to my brother and tell my brother what to tell people, because it got to the point where I was like, I'm not wasting time. There's like,
Oh my
was
god.
like, this is efficient. I can deal, like, if some guys would come into the lobby, they hear me talk, and then they'd leave. And so instead of having to waste my time vetting through some people, I just gave it the headset to my brother, because I'm like, we're on a fucking mission. I want to get all these fucking trophies.
Yeah,
but it was so good.
Yeah, it's interesting interacting with people that way too. Or not to get too far ahead, but Resident Evil 6, I would play co-op with people online, and I never used the headset or anything. I would use all the in-game commands like "come here," "go over there," "thumbs up" because you did a thing. Like I like doing that, but it is interesting trying to play with different people like that online or even in person that have their own different play styles. Like some people, they're there for the story. Some people want the achievements. Some people just want to fuck around and shoot fish all day and possibly get eaten by a monster. So,
absolutely.
But that's in and of itself the magic of that kind of a co-op experience. So yeah.
Yeah, it was like truly like such a special like moment in time for me, like playing games. It was one of the first times that I ever like played something that was not a Pokemon game or a Kingdom Hearts game. So it was like kind of dipping my toes into something a little bit more outside my comfort zone. It was like for me scary at the time, and dealing with people online and kind of having to navigate that. And like most people were fine. It just was getting to the point where my thing was, I'm not kidding. I was like, I need to farm this level to get this cash. It's because I know this is the level with the most gems, and I need to keep doing this. So it was like just wasting time to have people argue with me when I'm like, I done this so many times.
You're running this like a business.
I was running like a business. I was like, because it was also the level with the lasers. So I'd be like, just go stand there. I'll move the lasers. I know exactly how to do this. And then they get.
I can vouch for this behavior because I was also put to work essentially. I was like, "Hey Beth, look at this. Look, check out what I'm." She's like, "Get on the fucking zip line. Get on the zip line. We have to go across. Jesus Christ, you're not paying
time is money."
Yeah.
Slowly,
we're on the fucking clock.
A little bit better, but it was
we're
definitely
on the clock.
Plus, it's also funny just to kind of give Gerry shit. It's the best.
So yeah, Nomad, go ahead and play it with her.
I'm chill. I'm totally chill.
Or you could play the Mercenaries mode with me because the Mercenaries in Resident Evil 5. Holy shit, it's so good.
Or
there's so many play. Hold your goddamn horses. I'm not done yet. There's so many different characters that you can just unlock throughout playing the whole thing. Each character plays totally differently. Like Jill, or not Jill. What the fuck is her name? Rebecca?
Sheva.
No.
Rebecca!
No, it's Rebecca. Rebecca's in the Mercenaries. You could still mix, what is it?
It's
Rebecca
Lydia.
has like an SMG. No, it's Rebecca.
You can
I just
play
said it's
the
Rebecca.
creator's least favorite character.
She's actually pretty fucking good. Rebecca has she has the most healing items. She has a little fucking SMG that can just plow through the bullet. Fuck. The bullets will like penetrate just waves of enemies. They'll penetrate enemies. That's great. Gerry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say we could do teams and see who gets through Resident Evil 5 faster. Beth and Nomad. Speedrun 5.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We'll do side-by-side streams.
That's a great fucking idea. We should do that.
So let you know, to get the infinite rocket launcher, you had to beat the entire whole thing, every chapter, under 3 hours, and I had that cleared by a lot. It has been a very long time, but I was good. I also, quick little thing too, is that 5 also had the liquors. So I was introduced to the liquors through 5, and that was also a terrifying experience. And having to sneak past them and like the glass paneling, and I cried.
Yep.
It was crazy. I loved that. It's so good.
Yes. You never forget your first liquor.
You never forget. You never forget.
Are we good to go to 6?
Yeah, let's go to 6.
Let's go to 6. I don't remember a whole lot of 6. But I remember playing as Jake, and that was fucking awesome because I would just palm destroy everything to fucking death, and I would never play anybody else. It was just so much fun.
So the weird thing about six, it's the same thing as 5. I remember when 6 came out, and I remember buying it and being like, what the fuck did they do to Resident Evil? I thought it was absolute dog trash. Like, thought this is not what I want from Resident Evil. And honestly, on the surface, Resident Evil 6 is not that great of a game. However, if you play Resident Evil 6 by yourself, you're going to have a bad time. If you play in co-op like I did, once I revisited the game and played through in co-op from start to finish, dude, it was so fucking dumb and so fun. It's a thing where you kind of have to like just, you know, like take a screwdriver and like tap into your brain a little bit just to make you forget like this is not a Resident Evil game. And then like
I could have sworn this was Stranglehold.
Yeah, like if you kind of separate this game and just be like, yeah, this is like, it's a dumb thing that they tried to do. There's too much shit going on in this game, but as a co-op game, god damn it, is it fun.
One of my favorite things to do in that game, and then I'll pass it off to Nomad, is when you can like when you dive roll, you do like the dumb little dive roll or evade and shit like that. Yes. You just land on your back and just like lay on the ground and just fucking chill there. Yeah, like drive a fucking car, like dude, beep beep. Like you can just aim at enemies and shit, just chill there. Like, so bro, we want to take a fucking nap, bro? Yeah, go ahead, Nomad.
So. I recognize the fact that Resident Evil 6 is not really a quote-unquote Resident Evil game. However, I fucking love this game, and none of you three can convince me that it's not a good game.
I'm not even going to try. It's awesome.
Don't even fucking try. But no, I agree with you, Gerry. It is better in co-op. I never played with anybody I knew. I played with people online, but that made the experience just that much more better. But I rarely pre-ordered games, but this was like one of those games where I actually went to a GameStop at midnight for this fucking game. Like I was stoked for it. Stood in line with like 3 other people, but hey, it was cool. But
you guys bonded.
Exactly. It's just like, are you a Resident Evil fan as well? Yes, I am.
Fucking Scott Malkinson from South Park.
Scott Malkinson, I have diabetes.
But
diabetes.
But I always have fun playing this game, and I think the reason I have fun with it is because I immediately recognize that this isn't what I expected out of this series, and I'm okay with it. So by shutting that side of my brain off and just now know I'm playing a stupid action game with characters that I like mostly, it's really fun to get into. I love dodge mechanics in any game. I don't know what it is, but something about just sidestepping out of danger just gives me an adrenaline rush because I'm big and large in my everyday life. I can't do that normally, so I love doing it in a video game. But
being nimble is nice in video games,
right? So I love the mechanics. I loved what it tried to do and some of the things that they implemented. Like it was fun to me. So much so that I have completed this game to platinum twice on the PlayStation 3 and 4.
Yeah.
100 or 1,000 gamer score on the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, and I'm slowly chipping away on my Switch with it. Like it's my guilty pleasure game. It's not that great. I know it isn't, but it's just fun. It's just fun.
It is just fun, man.
Yeah. Nothing that brings you joy is a guilty pleasure. I hate that phrase.
Especially when you could just jump on your back onto the floor
like
beep beep, vroom vroom.
There's just something out of body when someone gets ready to throw something at you and you dodge roll to the right, fall on your back, John Woo style, Leon with his 2 handguns taking out the enemy, and you're just sitting there going, I'm a fucking badass.
Beep,
maybe
beep,
not.
Vroom, vroom.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly. So I same thing. Anytime anyone would ever want to play that game co-op or what have you, don't even have to twist my wrist. Capcom tried to take that in a ridiculous direction by having 4 campaigns that would intersect and all that. And that's something else too. From a co-op perspective, I liked that they tried to say if Gerry and I were playing a game together and Aaron and Beth are playing a different scenario and those two scenarios
I forgot about that.
Yeah, those scenarios intersect, you could online play all 4 4 of us together, this small story segment, like little shit like that, I thought was actually really cool. Did it work all that time? Didn't work that way all the time, sure, but I loved what they tried to do. They just didn't execute the way that they should have, but still, it's a fine piece of video game entertainment.
It's a video game and it rocks.
Fuck and yes. Big shout out to that chapter where you play as Chris and what's his face?
Pierce.
And spoilers, what's his face? What'd you say his name is?
Piers.
And he gets his like arm cut off or he gets mutated and he has that big like fucking mutato arm and it's fucking sick. And his anti-material rifle before that. Oh, that fucker's so good.
Yeah, like me and my brother played that game, like all the campaigns all the way through together. And we both got weirdly attached to Pierce. I have no idea why. I've learned since most people didn't like him, but like we got so attached. And so when he got detached from his arm and then we were like, he's not making it out of here. And we were like, so upset, like so unreasonably upset. And I think like Jake and like Sherry's campaign and having that what's it's called?
Ustanic or Ustanic
yes,
or
Ustanic. Kind of like
big crazy Nemesis wannabe with an arm claw.
Yeah, I liked that he was kind of like this really like monolithic like thing that just kept coming back. Like you could not get rid of him. And this when he like is on the airplane or the helicopter when it's like you're trying to fight him on the helicopter. That's nuts. And the bit on the airplane with Leon and Helena's great. Right? That's them.
Yeah, they're on the airplane,
and then it's like all the gas underneath, and then they come up, and it's like fucked.
Yeah, all the blue gas, it turns everybody into zombies immediately, except for our heroes because they have plot armor.
I love that. I like them. I like their story. I think that you have like Leon and Helena is like it starts out and it's like a little bit more traditional like horror, and then with like Jake you have action hero, and then with like Chris you're like I'm a military man.
Right.
So it's like vibes.
I love that. They portray Chris as someone who's down on his luck, turns to drinking and smoking, and Piers is pulling him out, and he eventually has his return arc to be the hero at the sacrifice of his friend. Like, it's all dumb Hollywood shit.
Damn. And I like the secret love child, Jake being like Wesker's secret love child. Like, it's the drama. It's like so fun. Like, as this like can't be like I don't know. I like a lot of what it did with the story. I think my only real complaint is like if we're talking about like replay, like other than you, because you clearly got your replayability out of it, but I think the length of it, if you want to do all of it, is a little bit of a deterrent for just being like, oh, let's run this together or like jump in a way that like is kind of like what you guys were saying is a little bit of like the Code Veronica of like revisiting too many areas the same like again. So it's like that's my only thing with 6. I actually really enjoyed my experience with 6. I get what people are maybe upset with.
For me,
like,
honestly, the thing that turned me away from 6 and what also started to turn me away from 5 was the fact that, Resident Evil 4, after they transitioned into the type of game that Resident Evil 4 was, it was still scary. There was still horror about it. I was still nervous. 5 less. 6 not at all. There wasn't a touch of like I
wasn't afraid of
I
6.
wasn't worried about anything in 6. Perfect segue into 7, the game that scared the fucking dick off of me. Holy fucking shit. They were like, oh, you know how you guys used to be scared of Resident Evil and then we made an action game? Well, bam!
You
Here
said
we go.
you weren't afraid. You said you were big boys and girls.
I will never forget.
Fuck what you thought. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Yeah, you just come over here while I kick your teeth in.
Yeah. Getting into Resident Evil 7 in VR was basically like getting fucking curb stomped. Like, it was like, what the fuck, man? This is so goddamn scary. And I remember, I think it was like, an E3. I think E3 was still alive back then. RIP. And I remember there was like some stuff coming out that people were trying out this VR demo that was apparently the scariest
Kitchen.
fucking thing. The kitchen demo.
The kitchen
And,
demo.
and people were like, this thing is fucking people
Yeah.
up. Like, people are fucking mortified of this demo. And then it comes out, hey, the kitchen demo is coming to PlayStation. And you'll be able to play it when the PSVR launches. And that's when they went, by the way, the kitchen demo is a demo for Resident Evil 7. And that's when I went,
God, yeah.
wait, what?
It was that Tim and Eric gif where it's like...
And they kept updating it too. So there was like the people with the dummy finger. I remember everyone was like trying to like piece the clues and puzzles together of like, what does this
There was
mean?
a lot of crazy shit
So
behind the way that Resident Evil 7, I feel like they definitely were like, hey, let's go back to our roots. But also, what if
We
it
saw
was
what
in
PT did.
first? Let's throw it in first person. Because at first, like, knowing what they did with 7 and going into first person was like, at first it was a reaction of, I don't know if this works. I don't know if I want my Resident Evil games to be in first person. But then it was also a thing.
Works.
It started to kind of like, once I let it settle a bit in my brain, and I was like, wait, I kind of had the almost a similar reaction when they transitioned to 4 and made it like behind the shoulder third person. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work for Resident Evil. And
They're just going further and further back. Like,
yeah,
they're like zooming.
But
pull it all the way the fuck back.
Resident Evil
RTS style.
7 has one of the craziest openings of any Resident Evil game in the series. It's
one of the craziest opening games.
Yeah, it's batshit. And the absolute terror of finding Mia and her crawling up those stairs. Like, dude, everything about that game was fucking terrifying. Like, damn near from the start to the finish. It started to get a little less scary.
Well, we don't talk about the ship.
Yeah, I mean, it started to get kind of off the rails a bit there. And honestly, that, I think if that part of the game was fine-tuned just a little bit more, this would have contended for like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 2 for me, like easily, like same level. For me, it's just below the quality of those games, but as a game, it's my favorite because I got to play this in VR. And it was one of those things where, like, you remember being a kid and getting like a new console, and it's like this wonderment of like, what is it? Like, how does the controller work? And like, what's all the stuff? That's kind of what it was like for VR, because this was like the first thing I did in VR. I got my PSVR, and then literally like the next
really
week,
einto it lightly.
That's a hell of a cherry to pop there, man.
Yeah, it was. I didn't fuck around, dude. Like, and it was so funny. So I got my PSVR, and I think it was like a week or two after I got it that Resident Evil 7 dropped. So the whole week that I had the VR, I was just buying up games, like any fucking old game, because it was just like any game, just throw it at me. So I played this one game called Robinson or something, like the fucking, I don't know, some dumb game. That is the game that got me my VR legs, because as you probably know, a lot of people get motion sick in VR, and it fucked me up because I had the smooth like turning on, and you know, I'm trying to like fucking get into VR and stuff, and I play this game for like 3 hours straight, and I ended up throwing up because it made me so VR sick. I went, laid down, had a nap, came back, and I was like, oh, I'm not dizzy anymore. So when I finally got to Resident Evil 7,
puke the evil out.
I was like all for it. But the funniest part
already
was,
throwing up,
because I was so new to VR, I thought at first that in order to like turn, you had to turn your whole fucking body. And I'm getting like wrapped up in like the VR cable and shit. And I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. And it didn't occur to me that I could just use the fucking analogs to turn and do like the pie turning. And yeah.
The real danger is that you almost killed yourself in real life.
And my family.
Well, and your family.
Almost got divorced from Karen. It was, it was fucking wild times, man.
Dude, the part in this game where I forget which. I think it's when you're fighting the mom and she's in like full bug form, and you're in this like greenhouse or like
It's like a barn
sunroom or
something, right?
something. I think something like that. It might have been a barn. I think that's probably like the most scared I've ever been of a video game in my life, because you're just walking along and like you thought you already killed her, but then like bam, she fucking comes
Through
out
a
of nowhere.
window.
Like you don't even like
As you're going up the stairs, she busts through that window.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah, dude.
experience with her is genuinely horrifying. Ugh.
Yeah,
Well, even just, like-
that whole family was amazing.
Yeah,
Every single one of them.
love
Oh, and the
that.
dad too.
Ooh,
Jack?
Yeah,
Fuck, dude.
Fucking hunting you down throughout the house.
He was
I
the
want to say like
nemesis
the
of
Bakers
the
are
game.
the stars
Yeah.
of that show. Ethan Winters can get fucked. I hate Ethan Winters. He's the most white bread, bland, boring. Cannot deliver a
fucking milk
single line to
toast.
save his. He
Milk
cannot. His voice actor does not know the tone of whatever he's doing. It's bad line delivery. I hate him. The Bakers, geniuses.
Oh, dude.
Every single one is a star.
Mhm.
And
All of
I
them.
remember like watching my brother play through 7, and I kept being like, man, you know what's really weird? That this grandma's up here in this wheelchair up these stairs. How did she get here? And then you go somewhere else. He's like, how did grandma get here? But it's like so much else is going on that you don't really have time to process. That's weird, because everything is insane and so creepy and scary. And then when the reveal happens, you're like, that's why she was there. Oh, okay. And it's like the little crumbs were there the whole time. It's like not only an amazing horror game with a fantastic, like, cast of villains, and all that kind of stuff. That's how you do goddamn plot twists. Like, that's how you do a reveal. Like, that is actually genius. Like, what's really going on with
7
this
is
family?
incredible, man.
I love it. And the fact that the house was made by the same guy Trevor, who made the Spencer Mansion. You're just like, perfect. Love you. Thank you.
Yeah, that whole experience was amazing. Grandma, you bring up Grandma, and Grandma's the whole reason. I won't spoil the plot twist just in case someone hasn't played it, because it's that good of a twist, really. But for me, what makes this game amazing is it's not like they went back to roots or anything like that, really, but they did recapture what it was that made the original Resident Evil so good, and I think it was that atmosphere more than anything. Because I love the older games. They've got like their iconic music, like the first hall theme and the dining room and the Raccoon City Police Department. But what I love the most about the presentation in a lot of the older games that 7 did amazingly well was like the absence of that kind of sound, and how they put you in this environment of just uncertainty, and all you hear is the creaking of wood and just those ambient sounds. Like, whether you're playing VR or not, you're injected into this reality, really. And I remember 2 instances that will always stick with me. The first one, I think it's in the very beginning. You're in the cellar, you find a secret passage, I think it's behind the fireplace, and you're in water for a little bit, and this dead body just comes up out of the water. It's not like a jump scare. It's not like a musical high-pitched moment. It just floats there and just like bobs in front of you, and you have to move past this thing. And I'm like, the absence of sound and music just made that terrifying, and I loved it. And then
that was something that I was always curious about too. Like, I always wondered, like, I found the game to be extremely scary because I played it in VR. So I always wondered, like, is this game actually that scary outside of VR? So like, for you guys playing it outside of VR, it sounds like you were still like petrified of a lot of parts of this game.
I couldn't play.
Big time. I mean, I would almost say that you have to play this game with a good set of like headphones or a surround sound system to truly get into it. But that's how it was for me. I had a good pair of headphones and all that, and like I'd hear the ambient sound around me. It was to a point where the ambient sound design was so good in this game, like I would have to stop sometimes, take my headphones off, and like listen and like look into like there was a point where I heard like an ambient noise behind me, and I whip around expecting to see my daughter because she loves to scare me and shit.
This was one of the first. This was one of the first games, I think, to use the 3D audio, right?
I think so,
because it had the 3D audio that you could set up if you had the headphones that supported it.
Yeah, And I think you're right. And one usage of that audio that stuck with me was Grandma. Now here's how this worked for me. I can't remember where it was, but I remember like going up a set of stairs, turning a corner, and there's fucking Grandma. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? But
What the fuck, Grandma?
Right, but I'd go somewhere else, and she'd be out of my line of sight. And I remember stopping Ethan, the main character, for a minute, and then Grandma, if you wait for a little bit, she'll actually start humming to herself. And she actually starts humming like the main theme of the game on the opening screen. Exactly, just lightly. But as soon as you start moving again, she stops.
Grandma's the
like,
genius. Genius.
But
they killed it.
Amazing game. Just
yeah, it is. It really
I can't wait to play it in VR. I'm so excited.
Me and my brother, like,
crazy.
Full had to, like, there were times where it was like he would be like, I need him, like, I can't, and I'm like, I can't.
I need to take a puke break.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not playing. He's like, I need to breathe, and I'm like, okay, yeah, me too. Like, I fully freaked out, but I think that, like you said, to the atmosphere is just so, like, that Resident Evil, you know, they really nailed it with that one, which is funny. Then they called that's the one with Biohazard as the title, and
yeah, they went real fucking full Japanese Final Fantasy titles with this one, and they were like, "You guys want to get confused real quick? Check this out."
Resident Evil Biohazard.
That's not both of them. That's both of them. But I truly, like, I think that it's like so smartly done. Like, so much is very, like, smartly done. Like, my only complaint is I hate Ethan. Genuinely hate him. Why did they do that to me personally?
I think they tried so hard to have the player imprint on him in some way, but I just felt like I imprinted on a sad, lonely man.
He sucks. Because, like, I agree. I think they wanted to make him kind of, like, bland enough so anybody could, like, you know, put yourself in his shoes or whatever. But they also gave him, like, enough dialogue and weird dialogue at odd times. Like, shut the fuck up. You don't need to comment on, like, oh my god, why does this always happen to me? Like,
why is this wrench not in the toolbox? Or something fucking stupid.
And
why is my dick in my hand?
And he's lying, and he's like, his tone of voice is, like, so not at the level of, like, every other character. And I'm just like, stop it.
The only time he gets it right is when he's getting his hand sawed off.
That
was my favorite part.
He's a scream queen.
That's
the real reason they hired him.
I love, like, afterwards, he's like, oh, it hurts so much, and he pours, like, Mountain Dew on it or some shit, and it's cool, like, he's fine.
Blast.
Yeah, dude. Pours a fucking 40 of Mountain Dew on there, and it's fine.
This is, like, okay,
only the finest dew.
He does show up at the very end, so it's, like, slightly spoilery, so I guess if you just plug your ears for, like, for a second or two.
Starting now.
Chris showing up in the end and looking like he's been anorexic for, like, the past 8 years.
That was a jarring experience. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
So jarring. When they said, I didn't realize it was for the credits.
Why is Steve Buscemi in this game?
I didn't realize it's one of the credits. I was like, that's, what the fuck? Or he said,
hello, fellow residents.
Right, he, like, reaches out his hand and says who he is, and I'm like, no, you're not. I genuinely believed he was lying. I'm like, that's a body double. That's a liar. Yeah. That's a liar.
He addressed himself by his last name. I'm Redfield. And it's like, the fuck?
I was like, which one?
Yeah, which one?
Right.
Steve Buscemi Redfield.
I was like, this is a liar.
Okay. We're getting on to past the 2 hour mark. Let's get to 8.
So yeah, I've never wanted to be stepped on more in my life than with Lady Demetrescu.
Yeah, dude.
I thought you were gonna say, and then Chris gets yoked out again, and
then Chris gets yoked, and let's fucking run a train on Gerry in this game. All right, let's fucking get fucking Redfield stepping on me. Get fucking Demetrescu. I want to climb her like a fucking thick oak. Like,
did you say a thick oak?
that character, Lady D, as it were, was the best, but I also argue probably one of the worst things about that entire game, and I only say that because she was so underutilized.
Yeah.
Yep.
1,000%.
I want more,
the
man.
marketing. She like the marketing, like she carried the marketing weight on her back, like uphill both ways.
She threw
and
a vanity.
She
threw a vanity.
Yeah, the way they marketed the game with her, it was like she was supposed to be the Mr. X or like the Nemesis, but she kind of was just in the castle, and then
there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and now all she's known for is how modders mod your character with a fly swatter so you can smack her ass every once in a while.
Yeah,
like it's such
stupid.
Well, that's hilarious. That's such
What?
a huge.
That's crazy. How do you install this? How do you?
You need to tell Gerry exactly how to do it so you can avoid
Where?
accidentally doing it.
Yeah, tell me.
I want to make sure
where,
I don't do it.
Tell me where I find this. Then leave me alone for 2 hours.
God forbid my wife listens to this. I can't. This conversation never happened. But no, she was supposed to be a lot bigger of a role. She is Mr. X for like a hot minute. She chases you around her mansion or whatever, and that was actually really cool. I liked her character, her daughters, although they were
great.
The way she like ducks underneath the door frame and shit, because she's like 8 foot fucking tall, and then you see her duck in. And then
8 also had a really good demo.
Oh, it's so fucking creepy, dude. Yeah.
And it was perfect. But I finally got to play Village. Actually, it's been 2-3 weeks ago. I finally got to play it, so it's pretty fresh.
Oh, so it's fresh.
Okay.
I know. I kept putting it off. I don't want to get into it. I don't know why. But finally played it. But I just remember, I think it was maybe 2 hours in, and I'm killing her, and she's dead and gone, and it's just like,
yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck is the rest of the game?
So I will say this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, Cole. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the castle in Resident Evil 8 and like the village leading up to it.
Yes,
Chef's kiss.
Big time.
Chef's fucking kiss.
I fucking hate the house with the doll. It's so
I
dumb.
love that one.
Dude,
Like,
that part,
it
was scared
so short.
So
fucking piss out of me, dude. That was fucking insane. The fucking big aborted baby fucking thing wham all over the place.
Oh yeah, okay, that was cool.
Fucked, dude. That was so insane.
I think that like for me, I think that after that part, actually the game starts to really fall off. I actually think the second half of 8 is pretty boring.
Yeah, the fish guy sucks.
The place with Heisenberg is just like very narrow corridors get like 1v1 stuck with like those guys who swing their arms wildly. So it like really got boring, which I think that is something that Resident Evil usually is really good. Like I said, at like disrupting your comfortability, and I don't think it did it that very well like in that area. But like the final boss fight's like fucking awesome. Peak character design, final boss form and stuff. Like that's all shit. Great. But
and the merchant,
Ethan,
we got the merchant guy.
The Duke.
The Duke is great.
Yeah,
I think the Duke should have only spoken rhyme.
That would have been fun. Yeah,
I like the robot master ending of the 4th part with Heisenberg. When you had to fucking do the robot master fight.
Robot? Are you making a fucking Mega Man reference?
I love that. Like, also, like when you're in that part, he taunts Chris by being like, "Oh, I'm gonna punch some boulders." And it's like, how do you know that?
Right.
Someone told him.
It's funny.
Like,
it's funny, and I
say this shit
it.
to him. It fucking lights him up like crazy. He can't stand it.
It was only Chris. It was only Chris, Sheva, and Wesker in that room when that happens. Like a big man punching boulders.
Yeah, it's pure fan service, and it was awesome.
It is, and I loved it. I was like, when that happened, I was like, "Oh, baby, I love that."
Village for me was good. I really liked it, but it was one of those. It started off really good. Even though it kind of had some slower moments where you're walking through the forest for 9 minutes trying to figure out where the hell you're supposed to go. But once you get to the village and you get to the castle, it's got a lot of really good build. Exactly. The werewolf enemies are really cool to fight. There's a lot of tension. And for me, I know this game is a lot more action focused, but I felt like I was constantly running out of ammo and I had to constantly think of ways to tackle different obstacles. Like it was good, but to your point, Beth, near the end, when you get towards like Heisenberg's lair in the factory and stuff, I felt like at that point, point, the game developers felt rushed and things were just put together too quickly. And while I agree the final boss battle was amazing, the character design was awesome, I didn't appreciate the fact that the main antagonist in this video game had like maybe 10 minutes total screen time and presence.
Agreed.
So I didn't really feel like there was this big climactic, like I felt more of that when I was fighting Lady D on top of the castle than I did this thing at the end. But I also kind of liked the conclusion of the winter story. For what it was fine.
He just collapses into a pile of fucking
did you play
shit
the,
or whatever.
The DLC?
I haven't played the DLC yet.
Dude, so
don't spoil that for
the
me.
DLC is pretty good.
No.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything.
I haven't played
will
the
just
DLC
say,
either.
There's a part in that DLC that made me scream out loud. Greg and Beth were watching me play, and it was akin to the Resident Evil 7 moment where I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do this. I cannot physically force myself to do this part. Like, it was terrifying. It's worth playing.
Jerry, me and Greg were also freaking the fuck out a little. Like, it wasn't just, it was half laughing at Jerry because he had to play it and freak out, but like, also we were both rough, like, dude, like, oh my god.
Oh, I can't wait. This sounds fun.
Dude, do it. It's that DLC is like pretty good. It's worth playing for that part alone.
Awesome.
Can I say that, like, one thing that with 8, I think that it's fine the way it is, but something that I would have been slightly more interested in is that with 7, we found out that Mia was part of a terrorist organization. So I would have been more interested in seeing, like, Mia have to go through this
prison system.
Well, no, yeah, that's true, maybe.
Guantanamo Bay.
If we had, like, I don't know, gotten to play a little bit, like, I think as, like, Mia through it, it could have been interesting because, like, you wouldn't have had to have that book at the beginning where Ethan comments on, yeah, I've been reading up about weapons, because now he's suddenly good with every weapon.
Yeah,
but, like,
that was like the
terrorist.
Reading about weapons.
That was the quickest way to explain how he could use weapons and stuff. It's like, oh, I'm tired from my military training.
I did a lot of military training. And so I'm like, but Mia's a terrorist, so she probably knows weapons. So you didn't even need to have that, like, happen. And I would have been more that. So the terrorist organization that she was a part of is connected to some of the things that Ada had been involved in 6.
Right.
So I would have also. So another reason I would have liked to have known a bit more about that. And then you have, like, Mother Miranda and this very, like, maternal figure antagonist, and who takes very early, the beginning, the reason you're doing it, takes away a child from these parents. And so that's rips her up, but it's like a maternal figure. And so I think there would have been the interesting, and then you have Lady D with her daughter. So I think there would have been a little bit more of an interesting kind of, like, theme to be touching on if there was if it was Mia kind of, you know, being a mother going get back her child from Miranda, who is in a way a mother of her own. So it could have, like, even though Mother Miranda was barely in it, it could have inadvertently added a little bit to the character that you could kind of, like, glean through, you know. But, you know,
I was still like, even though this one's not at the top of the list of Resident Evil games, I still highly recommend this one.
Absolutely.
It's still very fun to play. It's got its weird story wonky moments and things like that, but for me, I'll go back to it because I had a blast playing it. It was fun engaging monsters. The puzzles were fun to engage with. The environments were really well done for the most part. I mean, it's a solid game. There's no reason not to play it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry,
except for the
Aaron.
fish lady area.
Yeah, the fish guy suck.
Fuck the fish guy.
I'm sorry, Aaron. I loved the part where it turned into an escape room when I was suddenly playing.
Yes,
like,
I did too.
The 999. And I was like,
those are cool.
I do love this.
I guess when I was playing 8, I was in full, like, survival horror, like, kick ass shoot shit in the fucking face mode. Not, like 999, Virtue's Last Reward, fucking spin the globe and combine these colors to solve the puzzle kind of shit.
It was the only part in the whole game where I was like, hand the control over to me, brother. got
man, I stayed hidden in like one of the 2 lockers for like, I don't know, 15 minutes because while I had a scary blast.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, if you thought that part was fucking scary,
when you're running down the hall, and then I remember being like, "There's something there," and then like the face gets closer of like the
baby.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
like we were running in the hallway, and I was like, "There's something coming in the darkness," and then it like showed up, and I was like, "Ah!" and like screamed. It's like, run!
Is that a similar moment, Gary, where your dick also fell off?
Yeah.
Dick fell off a few times. I had to patch it up numerous times in this game. But yeah, no, I think we need to make a blood pact here that when Resident Evil 9 comes out, we need to get together as a panel and review the Resident Evil 9. Because I'm excited to see. There's been some news coming out about Resident Evil 9. It is 100% in the works. They said that they got the fucking most of the team from Resident Evil 7 back. So they were like, hey, guess what? This one's going to be really fucking scary again.
I guess who's not going to be the main protagonist.
Hooray!
Fucking Ethan. They're going to be like, oh, we brought we know you love Ethan Winters, so we brought him back from the dead. We got a service pro mold cleaner guy to clean the mold out of Ethan, so he's all good.
If they ever brought him back, I think there would be so much fan backlash they would change it.
Yeah.
We live in that kind of world now.
It'd be like that one episode of Family Guy where they killed off Brian and replaced him with the Italian dog, and everybody was like, why?
I don't know.
Come on, what's the point?
I kind of like that Italian dog, but I'm biased.
It was fucking cool though, but
I think
Aaron.
7 like stood on it like so well, like with the bakers and like on vibes and everything like that. And it didn't matter how boring Ethan was, and Ethan just could not really carry 8 at all, especially when you introduce Chris immediately. And I'm like, I'd much rather be following whatever the fuck he's doing. Like, you know, Chris is around here somewhere. Can we find him? So
well, that'd be nice.
I say we make a blood pact to review Resident Evil 9 together. Aaron, get us the fuck out of here, dude. Get us out of here. Beth, unlock the door, please.
yeah, please.
Unlock the door, please. Let us out of here.
door's locked.
Oh my God.
That's my fuck face impression.
Here's my fuck face.
God damn it. This has been such a good episode. Well, fuck. Thank you, Nomad. I almost called you Jeff for a second. I don't know why. I'm
Thanks,
so fucking
Kevin.
tired. Yeah,
Thank you, random white man.
Hooray! I am that.
Thank you, Nomad, for coming on. Thank you, Beth, for coming on and making your Super Ghost X Super Pod Saga debut. It's great having you both on here with your wealth of knowledge and experience in this awesome series.
Yup.
So yeah, Gerry, if for God forbid anybody needs more Super Pod Saga, where the hell can they find us?
You know where they can go, dude. They can go straight to hell. They can go straight to hell. But if they don't want to go straight to hell, if they want to go straight to hell, they can go to superpodnetwork.com and find all kinds of our friends and all kinds of good content over there. Go check it out. You will not get bored. I promise you.
That's right. That's right. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. Leave a rating / review, all that stuff. Support the show on Patreon, $2 or $4 a month. There's cool stuff, early access. Everybody say bye.
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 Okay, bye.